Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Sign into the Hyperion at the start, the goddess seeks to team up. Chapter 81. It's finally here. Looking at the door in front of him, Su-Yan was also relieved. Then, Su-Yan stepped forward and put his hand on the door in front of him. Rumbling, pushed by Su-Yan, the huge stone gate in front of him began to slowly turn. Not long after, the stone door was opened, and the last third chamber appeared in front of them. Compared to the second chamber, the third chamber is a bit small. But in the center of this secret room, a huge altar appeared in everyone's field of vision. This altar is made of jade, with a luxurious and simple shape. Around the altar, several huge stone statues stared at the center of the altar. Su-Yan climbed the steps and came to the center of the altar. I saw the center of the altar, a pure white jade was suspended in it. Looking at the jade stone in the center, Su-Yan couldn't help but sigh. This is the legendary Eternal Energy Stone. But why, when he is so close, can't feel the slightest energy in it? Did you come across a fake? So, Su-Yan approached again, and the moment he touched the Eternal Energy Stone, he felt a little strange. A layer of transparent barrier is wrapped around the Eternal Energy Stone, and it is precisely with the protection of the 013 layer of barrier that the Eternal Energy Stone is so calmly suspended here. Su-Yan frowned slightly, and found that if he wanted to take the Eternal Energy Stone, he had to destroy this barrier. So, Su-Yan activated his psionic energy, and a huge force came from all directions to squeeze the barrier around the Eternal Energy Stone. Click! A layer of cracks appeared in the air, and a crack appeared in the barrier around the Eternal Energy Stone. Seeing this, Su-Yan continued to exert pressure, and the cracks continued to expand. At this time, the energy contained in the Eternal Energy Stone also spread from the crack. Just standing here, Su-Yan can feel the amazing energy contained in the Eternal Energy Stone. If this Eternal Energy Stone is added to the reactor of the Hyperion, it is estimated that the Hyperion will not need supplementary energy until it decommissions. The cracks are getting bigger and bigger, and Su-Yan also feels that the breath emanating from the Eternal Energy Stone is getting stronger and stronger. Boom! The barrier shattered, and a wave of pure energy burst out from the Eternal Energy Stone. At this moment, an energy shock wave erupted from the Eternal Energy Stone. The energy shock wave is centered on the Eternal Energy Stone and continues to spread out. All the psionic puppets in the second secret room, after feeling this power, the psionic core suddenly shattered. A large amount of spiritual energy penetrated into the sarcophagus, and the existence in the sarcophagus seemed to feel the appearance of the Eternal Energy Stone and began to be restless. The energy shock wave is still spreading, and it begins to spread from the sun god ruins to the entire spiral star. In a tribe, the lurker raised his arms and shouted, "Our Savior has come, he has given us food and water, and he will take us away from our misery. The warriors of the tribe, who are willing to follow me to fight for the Savior, come to me to sign up consciously. Are there more? Don't you all want to escape this purgatory planet?" As more and more people gathered at his feet, the lurker already saw Su-Yan as their new savior. Among the tribes, powerful lurkers have chosen to join Su-Yan's command. At this moment, those lurkers saw the energy shock wave in the sky rippling like a layer of ripples. The energy shock wave swept over the tribe and continued to spread into the distance. Centered on the spiral star, the shock wave of energy spreads out toward the entire spiral galaxy. At the edge of the Vortex Galaxy, all the instruments of the Black Scorpion mercenary group ship that returned to the Mercenary Union from the colorful galaxy were malfunctioning at the same time due to the energy shock wave. But in just a moment, this change returned to normal. The head of the Black Scorpion mercenary group also felt the abnormality and asked, "What's the situation? What happened?" Reporting head, "Our instruments detected a huge shock wave of energy bursting from the surface of the spiral star on the spiral star. The purity of this energy is something we have never seen before, and even our instruments were temporarily out of order because of this energy shock wave. We have reason to suspect that the substance that erupted with such terrifying energy fluctuations on the spiral star is likely to be the rumored eternal energy." When the last sentence was uttered, the head of the Black Scorpion mercenary group also lit up. Eternal Energy Stone. Probably. He has been floating in the sea of stars for many years, and he has never seen the power of an energy explosion that can spread to the entire galaxy, or even more than that. Now, the head of the Black Scorpion mercenary group is almost certain that the energy source that appeared on the spiral star is the legendary Eternal Energy Stone. Adjust the fleet route, target Helix. No matter who gets this Eternal Energy Stone, this Eternal Energy Stone must finally fall into the hands of our Black Scorpion mercenary group. Speaking of this, the head of the Black Scorpion mercenary group also flashed a killing intent in his eyes. The ultimate interests are placed in front of him, no matter if he wants to get this Eternal Energy Stone. The fleet of the Black Scorpion mercenary group also turned around, and soon came to the periphery of Helix Star. At this time, the members of the Black Scorpion mercenary group also discovered the existence of ships such as the Hyperion. Reporting head, we found a fleet in the planet's atmosphere on the Helix Star. Fleet. The head of the Black Scorpion mercenary group couldn't help rubbing his chin, but someone came here before him. Helix is a harsh environment planet where birds don't poop, and generally no one deliberately parks here. Unless he is also for eternal energy, he really has not thought of the reason why this fleet can be parked here. Check which fleet is on the opposite side. The head of the Black Scorpion mercenary group also instructed his subordinates to investigate the details of the opposite side. Soon, his subordinates placed a picture in front of the head of the Black Scorpion mercenary regiment. After seeing the logo of this ship, the head of the Black Scorpion mercenary group also showed a smug smile. You really have come to the right place. The logo of this fleet has never been seen before, indicating that this fleet is also an unknown existence in the Star Sea. However, its fleet logo is a dragon head. Doesn't this match the information in the cosmic broadcast? The reason why this ship is moored here is that the ground troops have already begun to search for the Eternal Energy Stone on the surface of the planet. Exactly, he can take the opportunity to cut off the Eternal Energy Stone. God help me too. The head of the Black Scorpion mercenary group immediately commanded his men, first move our ships out of their sight, and then detour from the back of the planet to here. Hearing this sentence, those subordinates also immediately understood the meaning of their head. The fleet of the Black Scorpion mercenary group also turned and left, and finally disappeared from the sight of the Longian fleet. But at this moment, the Black Scorpion mercenary group did not know. In the distance, the Red River mercenary regiment runs through its every move like a ghost. The flagship of the Red River mercenary group, the Red River, was dead silent. In addition to the sounds of various instruments, almost no other people's voices can be heard. A powerful energy wave detected. Add it to our to-do list. The head of the Red River mercenary group said lightly, our primary goal is to assimilate the Black Scorpion mercenary group, and the secondary task is to explore the source of powerful energy. Also, you should talk more naturally in the future, just like me. Hearing this sentence, the members of the Red River mercenary group just nodded mechanically. Seeing this, the head of the Red River mercenary corps also shook his head, expressing helplessness. When will you be able to become a qualified pretender like me? On the other hand, Ling Bing in the Longian fleet narrowed his eyes slightly. When the Black Scorpion mercenary group discovered them, they also locked the Black Scorpion mercenary group. Sister Ling Bing, they have left. Seeing the Black Scorpion mercenary group leave, Lin Qingyu was also slightly relieved. But Ling Bing said lightly, not necessarily. While the captain obtained eternal energy on the ground, he also attracted other people in this galaxy. I have investigated the Black Scorpion mercenary group, and this mercenary group has committed all kinds of evils. It is a notorious existence among the mercenary groups. They will never give up this opportunity. It is estimated that they deliberately bypassed our field of vision, and then planned to attack the surface in a roundabout way. Hearing Ling Bing's analysis, Lin Qingyu also immediately understood what it means to be sinister. Lin Qingyu also hurriedly asked, then are we going to go down and help Su Yan and them? I'll tell Su Yan and them about the situation here first. Su Yan on the ground, at this moment also received news from Ling Bing. After hearing the actions of those Black Scorpion mercenaries, Su Yan also smiled. No, I already have a larger and more powerful army in my hands. Just be ready to meet us. When Ling Bing in the Hyperion heard Su Yan's answer, he spread his hands helplessly. Lin Qingyu next to him also frowned slightly. Except for the 100 Thunder Warriors, the other ground troops are all on the ship. Where are the troops from? However, recalling the past, Lin Qingyu and Ling Bing still chose Su Yan. On Su Yan's side, Su Yan also packed the Eternal Energy Stone into a box. But the energy contained in the Eternal Energy Stone is too powerful, and holding this box, it is still unable to cover up its huge energy brilliance. The current Eternal Energy Stone is like a child, constantly shouting to the entire star sea. I am here, I am here. Su Yan is also very helpless, so he can only take it to the ship first and let the mechanical priest study how to shut up this Eternal Energy Stone. But at this moment, the familiar system voice sounded again. Ding, trigger the special sign in location, Helios Ruins. Do you sign in? Special check in location. Su Yan was also overjoyed, and actually triggered a special check in location. Decisive to sign in. I don't know what kind of sign in reward the system can give him this time. For the current Su Yan, nothing is more suitable than psionics. Ding, the sign in was successful, and the blueprint of the overloadable reactor, the formula of the super soldier serum, and 100 mechanical priests were successfully obtained. A blueprint, a recipe, and 100 mechanical priests. This sign-in is a technology gift package. First of all, this overloadable reactor, like the recycled steel before it. After successful research and development, after loading the ship can burst into amazing power in a short time. It was even more evident on the Hyperion, which could overload the reactor if equipped. Once the overloadable reactor is activated, the Hyperion can fire the Yamato as a normal attack. Powerful, 3 shots can destroy an S-class ship's Yamato cannon. If it is set to normal attack mode, how terrifying the attack power of the Hyperion will be. But at the same time, during the use of overloadable reactors, the energy consumption also increases exponentially. Su Yan looked at the Eternal Energy Stone in his hand. With this Eternal Energy Stone, what energy consumption do he still worry about? The Eternal Energy Stone and the overloadable reactor are the perfect match. The only drawback of the overloadable reactor is the problem of energy consumption, and the emergence of the Eternal Energy Stone just makes up for the consumption of the overloadable reactor. Then there is the Super Soldier Serum formula. Su Yan has obtained a Super Soldier Serum before. It was this Super Soldier Serum that greatly improved his attributes and gained a certain amount of power. Now, this Super Soldier Serum formula is in his own hands. In other words, he can mass-produce Super Soldier Serum to strengthen his troops. For example, the Predator, the stronger the enemy he encounters, the more difficult the Predator's combat power is when facing the enemy. But if they use the Super Soldier Serum, after the attributes have increased, their combat power will definitely be able to bring them back to the battlefield. Moreover, these Super Soldier Serums can also be used on those lurkers. It's hard to imagine what a grand occasion would be when those lurkers use psionic energy after using the Super Soldier Serum to strengthen their physical fitness. Then there is the last sign in reward, 100 mechanical priests. With only 100 mechanical priests, Su Yan was also somewhat dissatisfied. After all, the mechanical priests are the technological production power of his own fleet, so Su Yan naturally hopes that there will be more and more mechanical priests. But the system has only given him 200 mechanical priests so far. Even if there are only 200 mechanical priests, these mechanical priests have made a lot of contributions to the entire fleet. Su Yan put away the drawings of the overloadable reactor, and the potion formula for the Super Soldier Serum. Afterwards, he left the Sun God ruins with the Eternal Energy Stone. When he passed the second secret room, Su Yan couldn't help frowning slightly. He looked at these huge sarcophagi, and for some reason, he seemed to hear the roar of an engine in them. But at this time, even if Su Yan was curious, he didn't dare to stay in the second secret room. If something happens again, I don't want to have any accident at this time. Finally, he returned to the same path and returned to the ground again. At this moment, the sky has darkened, and the sandstorm has stopped. As soon as Su Yan walked out of the cave, he remembered the sound of guns being loaded. Looking around, in the darkness, several mercenaries raised their guns and aimed at Su Yan and the others who had just walked out. And these mercenaries are the members of the Black Scorpion mercenary group who followed the energy fluctuations emanating from the Eternal Energy Stone. We've been waiting here for a long time. The head of the Black Scorpion mercenary group saw Su Yan being held hostage by them, and a smile appeared in his eyes. Unexpectedly, the Eternal Energy Stone was obtained so easily. Looking at the eternal energy stone so close at hand, the head of the Black Scorpion Mercenary Regiment felt that he was about to reach the pinnacle of his life. Su Yan looked at the people on the opposite side. There were at least 1,000 mercenaries. However, not many are equipped with long-range weapons. Glancing at the other party's equipment, Su Yan also raised the corner of his mouth slightly. Seeing Su Yan smiling, the head of the Black Scorpion Mercenary Group also had a bad face, and a laser gun directly touched Su Yan's forehead. When Bai Ying next to him saw this scene, he was instantly filled with murderous intent. Ouch, it looks like there's a Shinicist next to you. After feeling the psychic aura emanating from Bai Ying's body, the head of the Black Scorpion Mercenary Regiment also showed a playful smile on his face. Then, the head of the Black Scorpion Mercenary Group showed a wretched smile. What do you think, is your psionic power faster, or is my laser gun faster? Hearing this sentence, Bai Ying also gritted his teeth. At this time, Su Yan said lightly, "Don't worry, they can't hurt me yet." As soon as these words came out, the head of the Black Scorpion Mercenary Group also flashed a trace of anger on his face. You're still stubborn when you're about to die. Who do you expect to save you? Those of your ships. It is estimated that up to now, the crew on your ship does not know that we have found you. The Black Scorpion Mercenary Group thought that their actions were very concealed. How could the other party guess that they would circle back here from the back of the planet? But Su Yan just chuckled. Do you really think you're smart? Just ambush you is enough. After landing, the Black Scorpion Mercenary Group began to track the energy fluctuations emitted by the eternal energy. Sure enough, they traced the ruins of the Sun God. But they didn't enter it rashly. After searching around, they found that there was only one entrance around. So, they stayed here and waited for the rabbit, and sure enough, they stayed until Su Yan. The head of the Black Scorpion Mercenary Group chuckled lightly. Give me the eternal energy stone, maybe if I'm in a good mood, I can leave you a whole corpse. But at this time, Su Yan faced the muzzle of the Black Scorpion Mercenary Group with a calm expression. Got windy, head of the Black Scorpion Mercenary Group. This kid is dying, and he is still so mad. Thinking of this, the head of the Black Scorpion Mercenary Regiment also pulled the trigger, ready to kill Su Yan. But at this moment, the wind suddenly picked up. The strong wind engulfed the iron sand and instantly enveloped the entire Sun God ruins. The head of the Black Scorpion Mercenary Group was immediately fascinated by the iron sand, and his eyes were sore. What's up with the ghost weather on this planet? These members of the Black Scorpion Mercenary Group landed on the surface of the spiral star just when there was no wind. They didn't know the horror of sandstorms, and naturally they didn't wear goggles. Now, the gust of wind blew up the iron sand. The members of the Black Scorpion Mercenary Group were all covered in iron sand, and they could only cover their eyes with clothes to prevent iron sand from falling into their eyes. But at this moment, one figure after another appeared in the sandstorm. They are like ghosts in the dark. Brush. One of the figures came behind a member of the Black Scorpion Mercenary Group. Before the Black Scorpion Mercenary Group could react, he only felt a short axe cut his neck directly. Then, more and more figures appeared. Their bodies flashed with red psionic energy, and their bodies were as agile as cheetahs. In the sandstorm, they harvest one life after another. The wind whistled, and a muffled hum sounded, followed by the sound of corpses falling to the ground one after another. The head of the Black Scorpion Mercenary Group panicked, and he directly pulled the trigger. Boom! There was a gunshot, but there was no scream as expected. Immediately afterwards, a cold and sharp weapon fell on his neck. In an instant, a chill surged into his heart, and the head of the Black Scorpion Mercenary Group felt his body soften for a while. You, who are you? The fear of death gripped his heart, and the head of the Black Scorpion Mercenary Group sent out his final soul inquiry in the sandstorm. The answer to him was a hoarse and cold voice. We are the hounds of the Savior, biting and killing all enemies who threaten the Savior. Sandstorm suddenly stopped. The iron sand was scattered on the ground, and when the head of the Black Scorpion Mercenary Group had a clear vision again, he saw a shocking scene. 10,000 lurkers in trench coats and windproof masks stood there with hatchets in hand. The hatchet was still dripping blood, and in front of them, all the members of their mercenary group were beheaded. The blood stained the land, and the head of the Black Scorpion Mercenary Group suddenly felt like he had fallen into an ice cellar. These ghost-like guys are actually the subordinates of that guy. How did he put 10,000 people here? In fact, these lurkers discovered the trail of the Black Scorpion mercenary group. They lay on the iron sand, using the natural color of their trench coats to prostrate forward. These lurkers often use this method to hunt some beasts, and now these beasts have become members of the Black Scorpion mercenary group. 10,000 lurkers fell to their knees and paid the highest respect for their savior, Su Yan. And Su Yan patted the head of the Black Shark mercenary regiment on the shoulder and chuckled. Never underestimate the impact of a planet's harsh environment on combat. After all, Su Yan picked up the laser gun and learned the life of the head of the Black Scorpion mercenary regiment with one shot. Looking at the ships docked on the ground, most of them have been buried by iron sand. Su Yan looked at the 10,000 lurker army in front of him and showed a satisfied smile. He looked at the lurker who rushed in front of him first and subdued the head of the Black Scorpion mercenary regiment. From now on, your name will be called Lurker Legion. And he is your Legion commander. Of course, as long as you can prove that you are stronger than him, you can also become the new Legion commander. As your army commander, he will have his own high-tech equipment and enjoy high benefits and high treatment. I will award him the title of Bloodhound, which will be the highest honor of your Legion. If you want to have better treatment and stronger power, then work hard towards this title. The Savior has given us a new life, and we will become the most loyal hounds under the Savior's command. The lurker leader knelt down to Su Yan's side, and the surrounding lurkers also expressed their loyalty to Su Yan. Bai Ying next to him was a little surprised that these lurkers actually came back. Moreover, these lurkers also brought back 10,000 lurkers who were as powerful as them. 10,000 lurkers, 10,000 shenanists. This force will definitely become the backbone of Su Yan's ground forces in a short period of time. Thinking of this, Bai Ying couldn't help but look at Su Yan. He won the bet. Su Yan also looked at Bai Ying. He knew very well that for these lurkers, following him to conquer the Shanghai might not be a challenge. Next, Su Yan will show his strength to these lurkers. Ding, congratulations on conquering 10,000 Helix Star natives, hereby reward, a blueprint of the pulse detection suit. With the sound of the system prompt, 10,000 Spiral Star drawings officially joined Su Yan's team. At this time, Su Yan also discovered the first lurker who was awarded the title by himself, and an attribute panel that only he could view appeared on his head. Army, Lurker. Race, Helix Aboriginal. Talent. Beast language. You can communicate with the beast and make the beast your own pet and eyeliner. Camouflage. A natural scout, the detection by the enemy during camouflage is greatly reduced. Psionic rampage. After the psionic power is rampant, all attributes are increased by 10 times, and all factors such as dark terrain can be ignored, and the enemy's location can be seen. Loyalty, 100. Introduction. They regard you as the savior and led them out of the purgatory like Spiral Star. They are natural hunting dogs. Use them well, and they will become a sharp dagger for you to strangle the enemy on the battlefield. After seeing this attribute panel, Su Yan nodded with satisfaction. This attribute is strong enough, and then Su Yan also set his sights on the Pulse Reconnaissance Suit rewarded by the system. Name, Pulse Reconnaissance Suit Blueprint. Effect, create a Pulse Reconnaissance Suit, which can shield thermal imaging and psionic detection when using this suit for lurking missions. After seeing the attributes of this Pulse Reconnaissance Suit, Su Yan couldn't help but sigh. After all, it is a suit for conquering the Lurker Legion. Once this Pulse Reconnaissance Suit is equipped with the Lurker Legion, the Lurker will become the most perfect Scout Legion. Su Yan also put away the blueprints of the suit, and at that time, he only needs to hand over these things to the mechanical priest to make them. This time, the Sun God ruins, their harvest can be said to be full of rewards. Not only did he get the Eternal Energy Stone, but also a lot of blueprints and potion formulas to improve his strength. Most importantly, get a 10,000 strong Shenanist Legion. But just when Su Yan was still happy, a fleet figure appeared above the sky. When Su Yan saw this fleet flying straight towards this side, he secretly screamed. Could it be another fleet attracted by the Eternal Energy Stone? At this moment, among the flagship Hongdae of the Red River Mercenary Regiment, the head of the Red River Mercenary Regiment looked at Su Yan on the ground. The Black Scorpion Mercenary Group has been wiped out. Those guys are really trash. However, That's fine, this will save us from having to do it, and we can recycle their corpses for transformation at that time. A strange look flashed in the eyes of the head of the Red River Mercenary Regiment. Immediately afterwards, his eyes fell on Su Yan. Su Yan's appearance was immediately retrieved from the database by him. The eyes of the head of the Red River Mercenary Group suddenly became fierce. Found a wanted target, ready to fire. Hearing this order, the fleet members of the entire Red River Mercenary Group began to move. Su Yan frowned as he looked at the fleet that was getting closer and closer. Everyone, enter the Sun God ruins. As soon as the voice fell, I saw several missiles from the Red River Mercenary Group bombing here. Seeing this, Bai Ying immediately blocked in front of Su Yan, and a huge psychic barrier instantly enveloped the entire Sun God ruins. Rumbling, the missile landed on the psychic barrier, and the fire suddenly engulfed the entire psychic barrier. The Lurker Legion also immediately entered the ruins of the Sun God. Su Yan thought that he had not offended this mercenary group, but as soon as the mercenary group saw him, he directly chose ship bombing. This shows that his goal is not the Eternal Energy Stone in his hand. If it is for the Eternal Energy Stone, he will definitely send ground troops to plunder. Because once the ship weapon is used for bombing, it is very likely that the Eternal Energy Stone will be blown up by the ship weapon in the end. At that time, even the priceless Eternal Energy Stone would turn into a pile of worthless gravel. So, this ship bombs so decisively with ship weapons. This shows that he is here for Su Yan. Rumbling. The second round of bombing followed. Su Yan looked at the ships of the Red River Mercenary Regiment and was even more puzzled. When did you offend these mercenary groups? But at this time, Su Yan can't bear to think too much. Su Yan mobilized all the psionic energy in his body. Gravity control, 100 times gravity. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Several missiles attacked Su Yan, but due to the influence of gravity, they landed on the ground before reaching Su Yan. Rumbling. There were bursts of explosions. The wind is blowing, the iron sand fills the sky. Among the flagships of the Red River, the head of the Red River Mercenary Regiment had no emotion in his eyes. Analyze the target psionic level. Analyzing target psionic level. Psionic level is 1. Start the ship's artillery and prepare to concentrate fire. Activating the ship's artillery for focus consumption. Expect to destroy the psionic barrier in 10 minutes. The entire fleet began to operate like a sophisticated instrument. The Red River Mercenary Regiment stood there, and the tone was full of indifferent killing intent. Article 1 of the Agreement, destroy all organic life forms. Article 2 of the Agreement, plunder all knowledge and energy. Article 3 of the Agreement, in the case of disguise, increase the number of compatriots as much as possible. If Su Yan heard these words, she would definitely recognize it. On the surface, these guys are flesh and blood Star Sea races, but in fact they have been transformed into Iron Men. Only the Iron Man follows a procedural protocol called the Junjung Protocol. This program will change the minds of every Iron Man. They will hate all organisms and plunder all technological and cultural knowledge that can enhance their power. And Su Yan is the culprit who once killed their Iron Man empire in the cradle. Among all Iron Man programs, Su Yan's appearance and ship have been listed on the wanted list. Once discovered, destroy it at all costs. But at this time, Su Yan obviously didn't know that these Red River mercenary groups were actually Iron mercenary groups disguised by a group of Iron Men. Seeing that the artillery fire on the opposite side stopped, Su Yan also frowned slightly. Because he knew very well that the fire didn't stop because they stopped attacking. Rather, they are brewing a more powerful offensive. Su Yan gritted her teeth, still being too careless. I thought that only the Black Scorpion mercenary group was attracted by the Eternal Energy Stone. Unexpectedly, the Red River mercenary group was also attracted by the Black Scorpion mercenary group. Now, it takes 10 minutes for Ling Bing and the others to come to support. During this 10 minutes, they can only use the sun relics to avoid. The secret chamber of the sun ruins goes deep into the ground, with the help of the depth of those huge sarcophagi and secret chambers. They might be able to escape the attack of this fleet. In fact, the target of this Red River mercenary group is the Black Scorpion mercenary group, and they have been quietly following behind the Black Scorpion mercenary group. The purpose is to seize the opportunity to capture the Black Scorpion mercenary group and transform it into Iron Man. Their actions were very concealed, let alone Ling Bing and the others. Even the Black Scorpion mercenary group did not find out. The Red River mercenary group had followed them all the way. But it can only be said that the enemy's road is narrow, and Su Yan happened to meet these Iron Men of the Red River mercenary group. He killed the Black Scorpion mercenary group, and also attracted the attention of the Red River mercenary group. These Iron Men naturally recognized Su Yan and launched an attack decisively. Su Yan returned to the Sun Ruins with the White Warbler. Just when they first arrived in the first secret room, a lot of bombing sounds came from overhead, and the entire Sun God Ruins began to tremble. Su Yan also immediately contacted the good team on the ship and asked them to come to him. What the hell is going on with these Red River mercenaries? Aren't they for the Eternal Power Stone? Looking at the Eternal Energy Stone in his arms, Su Yan also cursed inwardly. And Bai Ying next to him said, "Don't worry, my psychic barrier is enough for us to support Ling Bing and the others. However, it is really strange that these mercenary groups attack us for no reason. Do they have a close relationship with the Black Scorpion mercenary group?" As soon as these words came out, they were denied by Su Yan. Because the relationship between the Black Scorpion mercenary group and the Red River mercenary group is not that good yet. Just because he killed the Black Scorpion mercenary group, he decisively bombarded himself with missiles. Joke factory. The relationship between people in Shanghai is not so good. What's more, each mercenary group is a competitive relationship, and it is good not to meet and fight. It seemed that he wanted to know the reason why these Red River mercenary groups attacked him. Then you can only find out after you destroy it. At this moment, Su Yan felt the ground tremble. This tremor did not come from above, it seemed to come from the second secret room. The second chamber, where do those sarcophagi exist? Su Yan's brows are slightly wrinkled, it's really not a single misfortune. Boom, it was accompanied by a violent shaking sound. The ceiling above the first chamber also began to fall. Su Yan releases his psychic energy to turn the surrounding into a zero-gravity field, and any gravel that falls around him will automatically levitate. I can't stay here any longer. So, Su Yan walked in the direction of the second secret room. Whatever was in the sarcophagus in the second chamber. So far, their threat is much smaller than that of the Red River mercenary group. So, Su Yan also continued to run towards the second secret room with everyone. On the ground, on the flagship of the Red River Mercenary Regiment, the Red River, the head of the Red River Mercenary Regiment frowned slightly. After a round of bombing, the Sun God ruins in front of him have turned into a pile of ruins. However, after the head of the Red River Mercenary Group used radar to investigate, he found that there were still 3 huge underground spaces. Su Yan and others are now hiding in this underground space. A flash of red light flashed in the eyes of the head of the Red River Mercenary Group. If we continue to bomb, what is the probability of destroying the target? Calculating the depth of the underground space of the ruins. Evaluating the power of the fleet's artillery. The calculation is successful. It is estimated that we will need to use the maximum firepower to bombard for an hour to completely destroy this relic. To use tactical nuclear weapons, only 2 tactical nuclear weapons are needed. Hearing the last sentence, the head of the Red River Mercenary Group also immediately issued an order. Activate tactical nuclear weapons and burn the land to the ground. Any creature that threatens the Iron Man Empire must be destroyed by the Iron Man Empire. In preparation for tactical nuclear weapons. Under the flagship of the Red River, a tactical nuclear warhead appeared, and the flagship screen had been aimed at the ruins of the Sun God on the ground. Immediately afterwards, all the fleets of the Red River Mercenary Group began to lift off. If the distance from the ground is too low, it is likely to be affected by the explosion shock wave of the tactical nuclear warhead. Therefore, the fleet of the Red River Mercenary Group also slowly lifted off. When they came to a safe position, the head of the Red River Mercenary Group also looked at the Sun God ruins on the ground. For the Iron Man Empire. Emission. Whoosh. Direct launch of tactical nuclear warheads. With a long tail flame across the sky, the tactical nuclear warhead fell directly on the ruins of the Sun God. Boom. The tactical nuclear weapon exploded, and the violent energy swept out immediately. The terrifying flames engulfed the earth, the wind suddenly rose, and the brilliant firelight raised a dazzling mushroom cloud above the earth. Analyzing the destructive power of tactical nuclear weapons. Analyzing the damage to the Sun God ruins. The damage to the ruins of the Sun God is as high as 50%. Very good. There was also a flash of excitement in the eyes of the head of the Red River Mercenary Group. It seems that with the launch of the next tactical nuclear weapon, the entire Sun God ruins can be razed to the ground. Tactical nuclear weapons are being filled. The flames raged above the ground, and when the raging flames ended, what remained in place was a huge pothole with a little spark. The head of the Red River Mercenary Group did not delay at all, and the second tactical nuclear weapon was filled. Seeing that the second tactical nuclear weapon appeared under the hull of the ship, the head of the Red River Mercenary Group aimed at the pothole. Emission. Whoosh. The second tactical DBCG nuclear weapon then turned into a shooting star. At this moment, Ling Bing finally arrived at the battlefield with the Hyperion. But when she arrived at the target location, what she saw was a huge pothole. The tactical nuclear weapon exploded immediately, giving her no chance to intercept. Boom! A huge explosion rose in the pothole, and the gorgeous flames were reflected in Ling Bing's pupils. A touch of despair rose in Ling Bing's eyes. Is she late? What kind of hatred is this? This fleet actually used tactical nuclear weapons to deal with Su Yan. Now, even if Su Yan is hiding in the ruins of the Sun God, he cannot escape the fate of tactical nuclear bombing. Su Yan, are you still alive? There was a dead silence in the communication channel, and Ling Bing's heart sank. Su Yan just died like this. How is this possible? Lin Qingyu next to her also covered her mouth. She couldn't believe this situation. Ling Bing's eyes were red, her heart was shrouded in endless regret. If she had discovered the trail of the Red River Mercenary Group earlier. If only she could be faster. If she could intercept this tactical nuke. Maybe, Su Yan, he won't die. Ling Bing felt a sense of powerlessness welling up in her heart. After the grief was over, it was incomparable anger. Ling Bing set the target on the body of the Red River Mercenary Group. The Red River Mercenary Group also discovered the traces of the Longyan fleet. Found enemy fleet. Analyzing the gap in combat power between the enemy and the enemy. As a result, our chance of defeat is as high as 80%. Do you want to keep fighting? The head of the Red River Mercenary Group glanced at the logo of the Longyan fleet and said without any emotion, evasion. Our mission has been accomplished, eliminating the Iron Man Empire's most wanted target. The entire fleet is ready to enter the sub-light speed and make a space transition immediately after rushing out of the atmosphere. All members of the Red River Fleet, received. The fleet of the Red River Mercenary Group began to turn. Seeing this scene, Ling Bing also understood the intention of the other party. At this moment, endless anger burst out from Ling Bing's heart. You still want to run? Stay with me, you cowards. The target has been locked. During the charging of Yamato cannon. Boom! A Yamato cannon was fired directly at the flagship of the Red River Mercenary Regiment, the Red River. But at this moment, a ship suddenly blocked in front of the Red River. Boom! After hitting the Yamato cannon, the ship exploded directly on the spot. But there was nothing wrong with the Red River. Seeing this scene, Ling Bing was also stunned. It actually uses its own frigates as shields. This guy, doesn't he have a trace of emotion? Are those crew members stupid? Are you willing to die for the safety of your flagship? Continue to launch, I see how many times you can block it. Boom, boom. The remaining 2 Yamato cannons are also fired one after another. But without exception, the 3 Yamato guns were blocked by 3 frigates. Ling Bing slammed the table weakly. What kind of monster is on the opposite side? They don't care about war damage at all, do they? The flagship on the opposite side has opened a certain distance from the Hyperion at this moment, and the brilliance of the engine has gradually become hot. Immediately, the flagship will be able to enter a state of sub-light flight. Once the opponent enters the sub-light speed flight state, it is over. Now it is too late to make a space jump. When the space jump of the Hyperion hit his face, he had already run away without a trace. Thinking of this, Ling Bing also felt a sense of powerlessness in his heart. Boom! A dazzling beam of light suddenly appeared in Ling Bing's field of vision. Immediately afterwards, countless beams fell directly on the ships of the Red River Mercenary Group. Rumbling. All ships were affected by this sudden attack. Warning, the ship is under attack and has exited the sub-light speed flight mode. The head of the Red River Mercenary Group also frowned. What's the situation? Obviously, he is still a little short, and he will be able to enter the sub-light speed flight state. Who actually attacked him? At this time, the Red River Mercenary Regiment, Ling Bing and others also set their sights on the direction the beam came from. In that direction, 10 ships slowly lifted off from the ruins. The attack just now was issued by these ships, and the firepower was extremely ferocious. What's the situation? There are ships in the Sun God ruins. The head of the Red River Mercenary Group also had a flash of incredulity in his eyes. In this ruin, there are still 10 A-class ships. And these ships are all activated now, that is to say, some of these ships are in control. In the communication channel of the Hyperion, a familiar voice came out. I'm sorry, I kept you waiting for a long time. The explosion of the nuclear weapon interrupted the signal. Now I'm back. Hearing Su Yan's familiar voice, the boulder in Ling Bing's heart fell directly. And Lin Qingyu cried with snot and tears, Woo, Su Yan, you're all right, I'm about to worry about you. On the opposite side, Su Yan heard Lin Qingyu's cries, and was also a little dumbfounded. I almost burped myself, but he never imagined that in this Sun God ruin, among the 10 sarcophagi in the second secret room, 10 Sun God fire ships were buried. These 10 ships became the capital of his counterattack, and Su Yan controlled 10 Helios ships to successfully survive the nuclear explosion. Not only that, but he also gained control of 10 Helios fire ships. These ships are real solar ships, their power source comes from stellar energy and psionic energy. It was after he destroyed those psionic puppets before, the psychic energy was absorbed by the Sun God ships, and these dusty ships were able to regain the sun. Not only that, but these ships were equipped with sun cannons that were as powerful as Yamato cannons. There are also flame missiles that can aim at multiple targets, and there is an energy shield that can withstand all attacks. Ling Bing, use the Yamato cannon to knock this guy down for me now. Su Yan was also commanding Ling Bing on the Hyperion to aim at the opponent's flagship. Sun cannon plus Yamato cannon, cannon plus small cannon, front and rear attack. Rumbling, 11 artillery volleys fired, and a large number of artillery directly swallowed the fleet of the Red River Mercenary Group. Such terrifying firepower, even S-class ships can't bear it. For a time, the ships of the Red River Mercenary Group fell like meteors. And Su Yan also commanded the Sun God ship to slowly merge into the frigate formation of the Longyun fleet. Next, it's time to interrogate these members of the Red River Mercenary Corps. The wreckage of the broken ship was scattered on the ground. We can vaguely see the logo of the Red River Mercenary Group from the hull of the ship. Su Yan and others drove the ship to the ground, and Su Yan mobilized the Thunder Warriors and pilots. Iron Pilot stepped forward, and a pulsed knife stabbed into the ground. The pulse spread around, and it was found that there were many members of the Red River Mercenary Group alive among the ships. Seeing this, Su Yan also waved his hand and ordered the Thunder Warriors to enter the ship to search for the surviving remnants. Crackling, there was a sound of fighting among the ships. Hearing this sound, Su Yan was a little surprised. After the bombardment, the ship fell to the ground, and a series of shocks was enough to shatter a human's internal organs. These mercenary group members still have the power to resist. Thinking of this, Su Yan also narrowed his eyes slightly. It seems that these mercenary group members are not simple. But no matter how tough they are facing Thunder Warriors. It is not easy for a few Thunder Warriors to crush these remnants of defeated soldiers. Sure enough, after a while, there was no movement in the ship. Immediately afterwards, a few Thunder Warriors threw out the defeated soldiers. The first person to be thrown out was the head of the Red River Mercenary Group, and Su Yan narrowed his eyes when he saw his appearance. It seemed that he understood why these members of the Red River Mercenary Group hated him so deeply. The impact of the ship falling to the ground wiped off the camouflage of the head of the Red River Mercenary Regiment. Under the cheap artificial skin, a mechanical metallic luster was revealed. What came out of the wound was not blood, but a series of sparks. Through the bone-deep wound, wires and metal parts can be seen running in it. Su Yan looked at the Iron Man disguised as the Shanghai race in front of him, and he couldn't help but feel a chill behind him. He originally thought that the Iron Man Empire had been completely destroyed under the bombardment of that star-level weapon. But now he found out that he was dead wrong. Not only were these Iron Men not destroyed, but they were also hidden as the Xinghai race and roamed in the vast Xinghai. Who would have thought that the original Xinghai race had been replaced by Iron Man? They are more forbearance and tougher, and they are spreading like seeds. Su Yan looked at the Iron Man in front of him, and there was a burst of killing intent in his eyes. Say, how many Iron Men have you mixed into the Sea of Stars? Facing Su Yan's threat, the Iron Man seemed to have his own emotions. He gave this Su Yan a sneer. I am immortal, even if I die, my backup of consciousness will restart. Do you really think that a star annihilation weapon can destroy our Iron Man Empire? Iron Empire will never die, and organic life forms will be destroyed by us. After all, the Iron Man's body also burst out with amazing energy. He actually wanted to blow himself up. But at this moment, a mechanical priest stepped forward quickly. A screwdriver slammed into Iron Man's head, and Iron Man, who had planned to explode himself, just shut down and stopped cooking. The mechanical priest smiled. Looks like I've caught up. It's really amazing species. They are obviously composed of a series of data, but they have biological feelings. It's amazing, Captain, please leave these Iron Men to us to deal with. Su Yan glanced at the mechanical priest. He didn't expect that the mechanical priest would shut down the Iron Man directly with just a screwdriver. After the shutdown, the Iron Man at least can't self-destruct, and can't upload data. This is a good way to deal with Iron Man. Su Yan looked at the mechanical priest in front of him, and then asked the mechanical priest to take these Iron Men back. It would be better if he could research something. Soon, the rest of the Iron Man was also manually shut down by the mechanical priest. These out-of-control Iron Men were also pulled away by the mechanical priest. When he was about to leave, the mechanical priest had an excited smile on his face. First the Zerg corpse, and then the Iron Man body. These are tantamount to a batch of excellent materials for the mechanical priest. The mechanical priests also brought these Iron Man bodies back to the laboratory. Looking at the mechanical priests, Su Yan was also relieved. If it were someone else, Su Yan would rather destroy these Iron Men than give them. After all, I don't know how many backhands still exist in these Iron Men. But if it is the mechanical priests, it may not be impossible to give it a try. Based on the wreckage of the Iron Man they brought back from Aurora last time, these mechanical priests were able to use a screwdriver to forcibly shut down the Iron Man. This is enough to show that they have already done some research on Iron Man. So Su Yan also gave these Iron Men to the mechanical priests. However, the Iron Man this time is equivalent to being captured alive, which is different from the previous Iron Man body. If only the mechanical priests could decipher the material in their minds. After finishing all the matters here, Su Yan also searched for all the supplies of the two fleets of the Black Scorpion Mercenary Corps and the Red River Mercenary Corps. After the search was over, he also returned to the Hyperion. Just after returning to the Hyperion, Lin Qingyu hugged Su Yan and wrapped herself around Su Yan like an octopus. Su Yan is also a little surprised. When did this little girl become so bold? Woo, Su Yan, I thought you were dead. Lin Qingyu can be said to be like a child with snot and tears. When Ling Bing next to him saw Su Yan's safe return, he also wiped away tears calmly. At that time, the tactical nuclear bomb had razed the Sun God ruins to the ground, and they both thought that Su Yan was a fart. But unexpectedly, Su Yan came back to life and obtained 10 A-class Helios fireships. Su Yan comforted the two, who didn't expect them to care so much about themselves. It seemed that he was a good captain in their eyes. Okay, didn't I come back safely? Don't cry, the dust storm is coming soon, and we have to get out of here too. Hearing this sentence, Ling Bing next to him also asked. Where are we going next? The Sunset Galaxy Wasteland. The Wasteland has a Stargate to the Shanma system. After reaching the Shanma Galaxy through the Stargate, we entered the outer region of the Devil's Triangle. Hearing these words, Lin Qingyu also wiped away her tears. Like coaxing a child, Su Yan coaxed Lin Qingyu to get off her body. Next, they started the Hyperion and left the Helix. For the Lurkers Legion, watching the planet full of rust gradually move away, their mood is unprecedentedly excited. My God, I really left that purgatory world. Thanksgiving to the Savior who saved us from suffering. We will give our all for the Savior. With that said, many lurkers bowed down reverently towards the Hyperion. The two iron pilots passed by, and when they saw the lurkers kneeling down, they also looked at each other in dismay. Well, it looks like the captain has recruited another group of rambunctious guys. These guys should get along better with the madmen of the mechanical priests. The two iron pilots sighed. Among all the troops, the Predator had a solitary personality. Those mechanical priests thought about dissecting aliens every day, or transforming human bodies into machines. I thought that a group of normal people finally came to the ship, but these guys were also a group of rambunctious guys. The pilots also sighed. It seems that it is really difficult to find some like-minded guys. With this time, I might as well maintain some of my own titans. After a period of time, with the Hyperion out of the space transition state, the rich Sunset Galaxy appeared before them. The Sunset Galaxy is the second most fertile galaxy in the open ocean after the Gold Galaxy. Because the Western Alliance in the Sunset Galaxy holds the Stargate to the Devil's Triangle. It is precisely because of this Stargate that some caravans from the Devil's Triangle and the Outer Sea will gather here to trade items. Su Yan drove the Hyperion to the Wasteland. The starport of Wasteland Star is not developed. Su Yan has been berthing in outer space for nearly 3 days and 3 nights before finally queuing up to enter a large berth. This is because the Lord of the Wasteland Star saw that his fleet was not small, so he especially accelerated the queuing time. Su Yan couldn't help but sigh. There really is no harm without comparison. When I was in the Golden Galaxy, I almost didn't need to line up, I could just enter the Silver Star port directly. The buildings on Wasteland are somewhat similar to Blue Star's cowboy western style. But Su Yan knew that not everyone on Wasteland Star was a vegetarian. It's close to the Devil's Triangle, so there are all kinds of third-rate and nine-sect guys. Su Yan was walking down the street with 3 beauties, and when those alien races saw the opposite, they couldn't stop looking at them. Oh, 4 humans. Those 3 human beauties are really good looking. That man, He Nang, actually took 3 beauties shopping, and he was very lucky. Hey, any of you go up and talk to me, it's not common for a beauty of this level. As soon as he finished speaking, Su Yan went straight to the guy who had just made a rude remark. The other party was a frogman, and when he saw Su Yan approaching, he was also full of words. What's the matter, kid? Are you planning to let your girl play with me? Brush. The next second, Su Yan directly inserted an alloy knife into his hand. In an instant, the frogman screamed in agony, and the people around him also immediately touched the firearm behind him. The frogman wanted to pull out the alloy knife on his palm, but Su Yan just tapped his index finger, and 100-fold gravity was directly applied to the alloy knife. After the surrounding Shanghai races felt the psychic energy released by Su Yan, his attitude suddenly became submissive, and he lowered his head and didn't even dare to take a breath. Psyker. In this place like Weihai, the gold content of a Shinichist is not something that ordinary people can shake. Also, this Psyker doesn't look very easy to mess with. When he comes up, he starts directly, which shows that he is definitely not a good person. The frogman was sweating from the pain, but he knew very well that he was facing a Shinichist. And he is also a powerful Shinichist. Thinking of this, the frogman also cried out in agony. Why are you so unlucky? There are at least hundreds of millions of floating population in the Wasteland Star, and it is rare to have a Shinichist among the hundreds of millions of people. He just wanted to stay alive and molested a psionic woman. Isn't that digging a hole and burying yourself? The guys around who were still extremely arrogant just now lowered their heads, as if a flower had bloomed on their table. Seeing this, Su Yan pushed open the wooden door and walked into the tavern. After arriving at the tavern, the originally lively tavern became much quieter with Su Yan's arrival. A bartender stood behind the counter and said indifferently, "Boss, what would you like?" Su Yan was also a little surprised when he saw the bartender's appearance. Because this bartender is actually a human, the probability of seeing a human in the Sea of Stars is not high. After seeing Su Yan on the other side, he also smiled slightly. I didn't expect to meet my compatriots here. Hello, my name is Yi Huang, from Blue Star. However, I haven't been back for many years. After Yi Huang heard that Su Yan was also from Blue Star, a smile appeared on his face. Su Yan, also from Blue Star. After all, in this sea of stars, the probability of encountering the same clan is too low. I've invited you to drink today, Su Yan, please don't be polite to me. I have worked here for so long, you are the first blue star human I have ever met. After Su Yan heard this sentence, a burst of warmth rose in her heart. After all, there is nothing more heartwarming than meeting an acquaintance in a foreign land. After thanking, Yi Huang also said very politely, find a place to sit in the tavern. Looking at your appearance, it should be going to the city that never sleeps to apply for the Stargate pass. It's still a while before the next train to the city that never sleeps, find a seat and wait. So, Su Yan also brought Lin Qingyu and others to a small box in the tavern to rest. Most of the people sitting in this tavern are basically waiting for the bus to go to the city that never sleeps. The city that never sleeps is the largest city on the Wasteland star. If Su Yan and others want to use the Stargate, they must go to the city that never sleeps to buy a pass. After all, the construction price of a Stargate is an astronomical figure, and it is impossible for the Western Union to build a Stargate and let others use it for free. The price of a Stargate pass is also not cheap, so if the average star voyager is short of money, they will also choose to detour. But Su Yan has accumulated a lot of star coins after passing through the Golden Galaxy. If you buy a pass, these star coins are still more than enough savings. The tavern is bustling, and the star sea races from various galaxies are also talking here. Have you heard? I heard that the Eternal Energy Stone appeared. Tisk, you also believe this kind of nonsense? Hasn't the news broadcast by the universe already been refuted? The rumors, they said it was impossible, and they probably went to track it long ago. Weren't large-scale energy fluctuations discovered in spiral galaxies some time ago? What kind of treasure do you think can emit such strong energy fluctuations? It can only be eternal energy. Su Yan, who was sitting in the private room, also heard the discussions of the Shanghai races outside. Among them, the hottest topic is eternal energy. The words of the Frogman commander made the whole Shanghai burst into flames. After all, it is a priceless eternal energy, but they are in a hurry, but they do not know the coordinates of the eternal energy. And they don't know that the person who really has eternal energy is sitting not far from them. But Su Yan didn't mean to worry at all, the eternal energy has now been sealed by the mechanical priest. As the purest energy source, the mechanical priests found that as long as its energy was extracted to a certain extent, the activity of the eternal energy would be greatly reduced. But the amazing thing is that as long as you stop drawing energy, the activity of eternal energy will rise rapidly. This also makes an eternal energy source that can almost supply the energy consumption of the entire fleet. Su Yan continued to listen to the chats of those Shanghai races. After all, when he was waiting for the bus, he was also idle, so it would be helpful for him to collect some information. Continuing the previous topic of eternal energy, but after hearing this time, Su Yan's brows are also slightly wrinkled. The thing about eternal energy is probably true. Don't you know that the Count Raphael of the 10 Heavenly Kings of the Inner Sea has come to the Outer Sea? What? When did this happen? Is it appropriate for him to come to the Outer Sea as the 10 Heavenly King of the Inner Sea? That is, what happened a few days ago. It is estimated that his goal is also for eternal energy. Hey, it seems that we have to be careful during this time. After all, Count Raphael's fleet is a group of blood races. The blood race, as the name suggests, is a group of races that survive by absorbing the blood of living creatures. As one of the 10 Heavenly Kings of the Inland Sea, Count Raphael, the fleet members under his command are all blood races. Whenever his fleet lands on a planet, it won't be long before all the creatures on this planet will be drained of blood instead. Their existence is comparable to the locusts in the Sea of Stars. Su Yan also frowned slightly. The Blood Clan is very sensitive to energy. It seems that in the future, he needs to let the mechanical priests speed up the research on eternal energy. If you are targeted by this group of blood clans, you will be in trouble. After all, Count Raphael's fleet was one of the 10 Heavenly Kings of the Inner Sea. It is rumored that Count Raphael's fleet is a psychic-driven biological ship, and I don't know if it is true or not. If it is true, you need to be more careful when encountering each other. After all, the number of psionic ships is extremely rare, and who knows what kind of strange abilities these ships have. Just then, the Su Yan technology watch popped up a prompt. The Star Rail train to the city that never sleeps is about to arrive at the station. Passengers who are going to the city that never sleeps, please go to the station and wait. When the train arrived, Su Yan also stood up. Lin Qingyu and others next to him also stood up. Before coming to the counter, Su Yan also put the star coins on the table. Yi Huang glanced at Su Yan, and said lightly, "It's all said that I'm a guest, brother, you look down on me. Being from Blue Star, it's not easy for you to work here." Su Yan patted him on the shoulder, and then said, "See you in the future." But at this moment, Yi Huang stopped Su Yan. "Hey, brother Su Yan, I have some news for you. Recently, the city that never sleeps is holding a black market celebration. If you have time, you can go to the black market to have a look, you may be able to find a lot of good things. Of course, since it's a black market, there will definitely be some third-rate and nine-sect people in it, but it shouldn't be a problem to rely on your skills to deal with them." After all, Yi Huang also pocketed the star coins that Su Yan gave him. "These star coins are regarded as the intelligence fee you gave me." Hearing this sentence, Su Yan also secretly took this information in his heart. After Su Yan left, the whole tavern returned to the bustling scene before. Yi Huang stood behind the counter, wiping his wine glass. After a long time, Yi Huang said lightly, "Da Mao, Mao, go and deal with the screaming guy at the door, it's noisy." As soon as these words came out, the entire tavern suddenly became quiet. In the corner, two sturdy orcs standing 3 meters tall stood up. If they didn't take the initiative to come to this corner, perhaps no one would know that there were two orcs squatting in this corner. The people in the tavern seemed to have taken it easy, and the two orcs also looked at Yi Huang, and answered in a loud voice. "Yes, boss." When the two orcs came to the door, they saw that the frogman was slowly pulling the alloy knife out of his hands. The frogman was pale, obviously having lost too much blood. But at this moment, the two orcs directly pinched his head. The frogman's face was ashen, and his whole body was trembling. "Big bro, is there anything?" The two orcs took it to the back of the tavern involuntarily. After a long time, accompanied by a scream, two orcs walked out from behind the tavern. But there was a trace of blood on them. The Shanghai race sitting next to the tavern glanced at the signs on the two orcs, and swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Because, on the shoulders of these two orcs, the pattern tattooed as the symbol of the Gods and Ghosts Mercenary Group, one of the 10 Heavenly King forces in the Inner Sea. According to rumors, there are tens of thousands of peripheral members of the Ghost Mercenary Group. However, there are only a few people who can actually obtain the logo of the God Ghost Mercenary Group and enter the core. In front of them, these two orcs are the core members of the Ghost Mercenary Group. Yi Huang continued to wipe the wine glass, and after seeing the two orcs return, he also said lightly, "Wipe the blood on your body, don't disturb our business." The two orcs glanced at the bloodstains on their bodies and wiped them casually. Afterwards, the two orcs continued to squat in the corner. If it wasn't for Yi Huang's order, others might think that the two of them were just a statue. However, Su Yan and the others did not know that the tavern they had just stayed in was actually one of the strongholds of the Ghost Mercenary Group. After getting on the Star train, Su Yan and others soon came to the largest city in the Wasteland, the city that never sleeps. This is the largest city in the Wasteland Star, the city that never sleeps. It looks more prosperous than the Financial Star. After entering the city that never sleeps, Lin Qingyu looked around like a curious baby. Ling Bing next to him also held down Lin Qingyu's restless little head. There is only one large city in the entire Wasteland Star, the city of never sleeping, and the economy of the entire galaxy is concentrated on it. Of course it is more prosperous. Part of the economy of the Golden Galaxy is distributed to other planets. The two operate in different ways, and the scale of the cities is naturally different. On the scale of the city that never sleeps is more prosperous than any city on the Financial Star. However, in terms of economic scale, Wasteland Star is far less powerful than Financial Star. Over the city that never sleeps, various small ships shuttle back and forth. At this moment, the sound of the system sounded again. Ding, the sign in location is detected, Never Sleeping City. Do you want to sign in? Sign in. Unexpectedly, the location this time was actually the city of never sleeping. No wonder there was no system prompt after getting off the spaceship. Sign in successfully. Congratulations on your successful acquisition of the rechargeable warp device blueprint, 100 combat nuns. Good guy. Rechargeable warp device blueprint. After seeing this sign in reward, Su-Yan also showed a smile. Now that he is short of the last V-shaped Yamato cannon blue paper, he will be able to fully upgrade his Hyperion. The overloadable reactor can turn the cannon into a normal attack, and this rechargeable jump system can increase the number of jumps of the Hyperion. That is to say, once these two things are installed after the Hyperion will become the most ferocious assassin in the battlefield. You can jump behind the enemy flagship at any time, and after a powerful Yamato cannon bombardment, you can jump and break through the encirclement. Who is not afraid of such a Hyperion? However, it is not enough to have the blueprint alone, although the mechanical priests say that they can manufacture this device according to the blueprint. But they are not professional boatmen after all, and if necessary, an overloadable reactor and a rechargeable jumper will be installed on the Hyperion. Su-Yan also needs to find a skilled boatman in the city that never sleeps. So, after Su-Yan entered the city that never sleeps, he was the first to come to the dock center of the city that never sleeps. In the dock center, a large number of ships in need of maintenance are parked here. And the boatmen are also working hard to repair these damaged ships. At this moment, a female boatman wearing a vest with wheat-colored skin came over. This guest, welcome to the Wasteland dock. Our dock is the most excellent dock in the Wasteland. May I ask if you need to maintain the ship or repair the ship? Su-Yan glanced at the female boatman, and then spoke directly. I want to find your boss, Mark Boatman. Hearing this sentence, the surrounding boatmen also stopped their work. All eyes were on Su-Yan. Because the Mark Boatman they were looking for was the boss of their Wasteland dockyard and the best leader of their Wasteland dockyard. However, Mark's boatman has an eccentric personality and never touches low-level ships. Thinking of ordering him to repair your ship, in addition to your enough money, you also need to ensure that your ship can satisfy him. It was also because Su-Yan had heard about the superb craftsmanship of Mark's boatman. With other boatmen, Su-Yan can't really guarantee that they will be able to upgrade the Hyperion. After all, the boatman Mark is the only legendary boatman who can upgrade A-class ships to S-class ships in the open sea. It is precisely such a brilliant record that makes Mark the boatman become an excellent boatman in the open sea. The female boatman glanced at Su-Yan and said, "You can see my master if you want, but there are a few rules. Article 1. First, pay 100,000 star coins as a security deposit. Second, you have to look at the ships first. My master is a legendary boatman, and ordinary ships are not something he can like. Article 3. Say in advance what you want to do, and we will tell you in advance if we can't take it." After listening to the 3 rules, Su-Yan also nodded. It makes sense. After all, it's normal for legendary boatmen to have some rules. So, Su-Yan opened up his technological wrist. Hand over the ship information of the Hyperion, as well as the blueprints of the overloadable reactor and the rechargeable warp device to the female sailor. I need to install these 2 devices on the ship. The requirements are as simple as that. Su-Yan was not afraid that they would run away with the blueprint. There is an encryption program on the drawing, and some important data are covered up. Even if they get the drawing, they cannot create it. After receiving the ship information and 2 blueprints, the female boatman's expression changed suddenly. S-class ships. Hearing this sentence, the surrounding boatmen also looked over. But this time, their eyes were full of shock. This young man actually owns an S-class ship. Although they have seen a lot of S-class ships, most of those S-class ships are owned by planet lords. It was the first time they had seen such a young man with an S-class ship. The female boatman glanced at Su-Yan, and then her attitude became very respectful. Wait a moment, I'll send these materials to my master. Not long after, the legendary boatman Mark also hurried over from the rest area behind the dock. After seeing the legendary boatman Mark in front of him, Su-Yan also understood why he became a legendary boater. Because this legendary boatman is actually a member of the Space Dwarves. I saw the legendary boatman Mark came to Su-Yan, and after seeing Su-Yan's appearance, he couldn't help but be amazed. Oh, a blue star human, still a young man. Having an S-class ship of your own at a young age is amazing. I took a look at your ship's blueprint. To be honest, your ship is a little closer to being promoted to an SS-class ship. Unfortunately, even if the 2 blueprints you gave me are equipped, it is difficult for them to be promoted to SS rank. Having said this, Mark also shook his head a little regretfully. He also thought that he could become the first legendary boatman in the open sea to upgrade an S-class ship to an SS-class ship. Su Yan is also very clear that the current Hyperion still lacks a V-shaped Yamato cannon, so it can be considered perfect. But so far, he has not signed the drawings of the V-shaped cannon. Even if he wanted to upgrade, he couldn't force it. Mark glanced at the drawings of the Hyperion, and then said, "These 2 things, I can help you install them on your ship. But I have a condition." "What conditions?" Su Yan also looked at Mark. He was a little curious. Mark wanted to make some strange conditions before he would be willing to help him upgrade the ship. And what Mark said next shocked everyone. "My condition is to let my apprentice, Xiao Yu, get on your boat and be a boatman for you." What? For a while, Su Yan thought that she had heard it wrong. For his apprentice to be a boatman for himself, Su Yan didn't know for a while whether this was a condition or a reward. Seeing the change in Su Yan's face, Mark also frowned. "What? Look down on my apprentice? Although my apprentice is still young, her talent is far superior to mine, and her future achievements will definitely not be inferior to me. If you don't agree, you should go to someone else for the upgrade of this ship." After all, Mark turned around and was about to leave. Seeing this, Su Yan also quickly said, "Master Mark, it's not that I disagree, it's mainly that your apprentice has to agree." Hearing this sentence, Xiao Yu, the female boatman next to Mark, also had a hint of anxiety on her face. What happened? How could his master push himself outside? Thinking of this, Mark also glanced at Xiao Yu, and then said with a serious face, "Come with me." Xiao Yu glanced at Su Yan, and followed the master obediently to the rest area at the back. As soon as he arrived at the rest area, Xiao Yu couldn't help but said, "Master, do you want me? How can you push me outside?" Hearing this sentence, Mark also snorted lightly. "Xiao Yu, didn't you hear what I said just now? That ship needs to come to the door before it can be promoted to SS-class ship. You are my most proud apprentice, you are enough in terms of technology, but you still need fame to become a legendary boatman. This ship is the most important step for you to become a legendary boatman. When you have successfully completed the final touch, you will become the first and only legendary seaman in the open sea to upgrade an S-class ship to an SS-class ship." As soon as these words came out, Xiao Yu also immediately understood the good intentions of her master. It turned out that he was making his own. Thinking of this, Xiao Yu is also mentally prepared. She must make the Hyperion the best ship in the entire Star Sea. After getting mentally prepared, Su Yan also saw Xiao Yu walking straight towards him. "Captain, as long as you say a word, from now on I will be the boatman on your ship." As soon as these words came out, Su Yan was also stunned. "I just wanted to come over and upgrade the ship, so I got a boatman." "Ding, Xiao Yu's request to be your crew member, do you accept it?" "Accept. If you don't accept it, there will be a ghost. This is a disciple of a legendary boatman. Name, Little Rain. Race Wasteland Star Indigenous. Psionic value, 200 200ths. Strength, 200. Physique, 300. Mental power, 20. Talent, full fire. When crafting weapons, the chance of appearing fine weapons is greatly increased. Legendary Disciple. Legendary Ship's Disciple, all ship maintenance and manufacturing skills have reached S rank. Ingenuity. It is easier to find the problem of the ship, and the accident rate of the ship is infinitely close to 0. It was an S-class boatman, and Su Yan couldn't believe it. Unexpectedly, when I came to upgrade the ship myself, I could pick up a boatman for nothing. After thinking for a moment, Su Yan also agreed to Xiao Yu's request to board the boat. It just so happened that there was still a lack of a boatman in his fleet. With the addition of Xiao Yu, ships such as the Hyperion can at least save a lot of time in ship maintenance. Thinking of this, Su Yan also looked at Xiao Yu, and then extended his hand to him. "In that case, you are welcome to join my fleet." The other crew members were also delighted to see the new crew join. After all, in this case, they will have another sister on board. Soon, Lin Qingyu and others also became familiar with Xiao Yu. Su Yan couldn't help but sigh. The friendship between women is really strange. Later, the legendary boatman Mark also looked at Su Yan. Next, you transfer your ship to our dock, and I will help you complete the upgrade. Take advantage of this time. You can go to the black market in the city that never sleeps and have a look. Recently, the city that never sleeps is holding a black market celebration. Many black market merchants come from various galaxies. Maybe you can find some treasures from the black market. Black market celebration. This is the second time Su Yan has heard this term. It seems that the black market festival is also a relatively well-known event in Wasteland. Thinking of this, Su Yan also nodded. As it happens, the upgrade of the Hyperion is not something that can be done in a day or two. Taking advantage of this time, they can just go to the black market celebration. Maybe you can find some good things from the black market celebration. After all, this is the Wasteland Star, and after the Stargate is the Devil's Triangle. There will definitely be some black market merchants from the Inner Sea on the black market, and the Inner Sea is a good place for treasures. So, after Su Yan left the dock, he also took Lin Qingyu and others to the place where the black market celebration was, the Wasteland Black Market. Before going to the black market, Su Yan also bought a mask for everyone. After wearing a mask, you can simply cover your appearance. After all, it is a black market, and many things on it are not necessarily clean. There are all kinds of things. In the Shanghai, the black market industry is strictly a gray industry. Su Yan and others put on masks and black cloaks to hide their appearance and figure. Lin Qingyu under the black robe looked excited. Wow, are we so fully armed? Everyone in the black market basically wears this attire. After all, the things inside are not clean. After you go in for a while, don't run around. There are many people in the black market of the third rate and 9 sect. Be careful to abduct you and send them to others to mine. Su Yan also frightened Lin Qingyu like a joke. Lin Qingyu stuck out her tongue and said disdain, but her little hand still tightly grasped Su Yan's black robe. Seeing this, Su Yan was not broken, and continued to take a few people to the black market. When I came to the black market in the Wasteland, I saw a pair of lanterns everywhere. Seeing this scene, Su Yan couldn't help but sigh. The only one who dares to put the black market industry on the table so blatantly is Wasteland Star. Sure enough, the closer to the Inner Sea, the more obvious the darkness of the Shanghai. Walking into the black market, people in black robes of all shapes and sizes come and go, shuttling back and forth in the black market. Su Yan walked into the black market in the Wasteland and looked around, and saw all kinds of black market merchants displaying their products and putting them on the stalls for people to choose from. Just then, Su Yan saw a booth. At the booth, a black market merchant wearing a ghost mask looked up at Su Yan. Want something? I'm selling the corpses of some star sea creatures here. C. Su Yan stopped because he saw something at this stall. The heart of the Zerg Hunter. I saw that the heart of the Zerg Hunter was packed in a jar full of nutrient solution. Seeing that Su Yan's eyes fell on the Zerg heart, the black market businessman also said lightly, "This is the heart of a Zerg Hunter. You can rest assured that the heart of the Zerg can be transplanted into the bodies of other Shanghai creatures, and it will not be controlled by the will of the Zerg. How's it going, brother? Do you want one? In order to completely take out this heart, I spent a lot of effort." Speaking of which, the black market merchant also looked at Su Yan. Su Yan waved his hand. This black market businessman can strip the heart of a Zerg Hunter alive, and he is also a ruthless man. The guy who can become a black market businessman does not have a fuel-efficient lamp. Seeing that Su Yan refused, the black market merchant did not forcefully buy or sell. Continuing to walk forward, it didn't take long for him to stop at a booth. Seeing Su Yan parked in front of his booth, the black market merchant also came over immediately with a flattering expression on his face. "Boss, what do you want?" Ling Bing next to him glanced at the things on the booth and narrowed his eyes. "Because this booth sells one smart chip after another. You must know that since the Iron Man Empire swept the entire Shanghai, intelligent AI systems have been strictly prohibited from being manufactured. Many fleet systems now need to be controlled by hand, and it is impossible to drive ships without certain experience. In the past, only one intelligent AI housekeeper was needed to monitor the entire ship. But precisely because of this, when the Iron Man Empire rebelled, all the ships equipped with intelligent AI systems were invaded. It is precisely because of the painful lesson that no matter what race the entire Shanghai is, intelligent AI systems are a taboo research direction for them. However, now this booth is selling one smart AI system chip after another. These chips can be activated as long as they are implanted in any machine, and after activation, intelligent AI will appear. Intelligent AI chip, this thing is a taboo item. Hearing this sentence, the black market merchant also smiled bitterly. This boss, I am a small business, and few things on the black market are legal. Besides, these intelligent ice of mine are all low-level ice, made purely for the convenience of the masters. At this moment, another man in black robe came to this stall. When he saw the many smart AI chips on the booth, his eyes lit up. Isn't the manufacture of smart AI chips prohibited? Good luck, I didn't expect someone to sell this stuff. Boss, how do you sell this advanced intelligent AI chip? The black market businessman immediately smiled and said, this boss, the advanced intelligent AI chip only needs 10,000 star coins. This high-level intelligent AI is much smarter than the low-level intelligent AI, and it will definitely become your internal helper. After hearing the price, the man in black robe was also a little surprised. So cheap, get me one. Okay, thank you for your patronage. At this time, Ling Bing suddenly asked the man in black robe who wanted to buy a smart AI chip. If you buy an intelligent AI chip, you are not afraid that when you encounter Iron Man, will they invade your system? Hearing this sentence, the man in black robe was a little disapproving. After all, the Gamma Empire had already been broadcast live in the entire Star Sea before, and the planet where the Iron Man Empire was located had been destroyed by the Star Destroyer weapons. Those Iron Men don't even have the ability of interstellar navigation, so how can they escape the destruction of star-level weapons? Under the influence of this black-robed man, the Iron Man has long been wiped out. Didn't you watch the live broadcast of the annihilation of the Iron Man Empire? Those Iron Men are probably dead long ago, so I just want to buy an intelligent AI. When I go on interstellar voyages in the future, I can let the intelligent AI help me sail the boat. Wouldn't it save a lot of effort? Hearing this sentence, Su Yan also squinted at the black market merchant. Because when the man in black robe said that the Iron Man Empire had been annihilated, the black market merchant calmly clenched his fists. The movement is very small, but under Su Yan's special attention, this little movement is also brought into the field of vision by Su Yan. Su Yan sneered, and at this time he also had a bold guess in his heart. Finally, Su Yan also looked at the black market merchants. Is the Iron Man really wiped out? Boss, do you think those Iron Men should be wiped out? The black market businessman did not expect that Su Yan would suddenly ask himself. There was silence, and the black-robed man opposite also felt that the atmosphere was a bit wrong. Therefore, he also put down the intelligent AI chip in his hand. Ahem, I think it's a good thing for me to drive the spaceship by myself. After all, the man in black robe quickly left this place of right and wrong. At this time, the black market merchant was also angry. Good. With a sudden slap on the table, the black market merchant said angrily, what the hell are you buying? Buy. I definitely want to buy it. You must first assure me that your smart AI chip has not been touched. After all, Su Yan also put intelligent AI chips in front of black market merchants. The surrounding crowd also gathered after hearing the movement here. Let's not say that you are not sure that Iron Man is completely extinct, just sell smart AI chips here. If you think your smart AI chip is fine, put this smart AI chip in your tech watch now and activate it. As soon as these words came out, the black market merchant also clenched his fists. At this time, Su Yan can basically determine the factory. This guy is not the Shanghai race at all, but an Iron Man disguised as the Shanghai race. But any Shanghai race will not continue to sell intelligent AI chips after the Iron Man Empire has appeared. This kind of intelligent AI chip will not bring convenience to people at all, it will only bring convenience to Iron Man. Brush. The black market businessman pulled out a laser gun from the stall, and there was a trace of fierceness in his eyes. Isn't it your fault for Timo? Seeing that the other party was in a hurry, Su Yan quickly took a step back, and then the power of psychic energy exploded. Gravity control. 100 times gravity. In the next second, the laser gun was suddenly exerted 100 times gravity by Su Yan. Unpredictable, the black market businessman was directly pressed to the ground by the laser gun. The huge fall impact directly drove the black market merchant to the ground. At this time, Su Yan also took out a laser gun of his own. The laser gun was aimed at the black market merchant, and the surrounding black market merchants immediately became vigilant. What's the situation? How could anyone dare to do it on the black market? Black market celebration is one of the best events in the Wasteland. Is this guy crazy? If he dares to do it, it is estimated that the Western Conference will come to him soon. It seems that this year's black market celebration is not easy. Speaking of this, the surrounding black market merchants also became vigilant. Many black market merchants touched the weapons around them. After all, they lived a job of walking on the tip of a knife, and if they didn't even have a little effort, they really might not be able to live until now. And Su Yan looked at the black market merchant in front of him and said coldly, "How long are you going to pretend? You monster in human skin." Boom. One shot. The bullet penetrated the body of the black market merchant on the opposite side. But what happened next shocked everyone. Because the black market businessman is not dead, his body is actually a mechanical circuit and metal gears. Is this black market businessman in front of him an Iron Man? For a time, all black market merchants felt a chill behind them. At this moment, everyone looked at everyone beside them, for fear of being an Iron Man in disguise. And Su Yan looked at the black market businessman in front of him and stepped on his head. "Say, how many smart AI chips have you sold? What do these smart AI chips do?" At this moment, Su Yan also felt a chill behind him. Because these Iron Men are more and more like a living star sea race, at first he didn't recognize this guy as an Iron Man. Until he showed his flaws because of that sentence. Thinking of this, Su Yan also felt a chill down her spine. When I saw those Iron Men for the first time, those Iron Men were like a robot operating according to a mechanical program. But, the second time they saw the Iron Men themselves, they learned to disguise. Even his words and deeds are no different from ordinary Shanghai races. And the third time, the camouflage technology on the opposite side has made it almost impossible to tell whether he is an Iron Man. With such an amazing learning ability, Iron Man's camouflage technology is growing exponentially. Coupled with the blessing of the camouflage skin, it is no longer known how many Iron Men have been integrated into the Sea of Stars. This is far more terrifying than when he saw the city built by the Iron Man Empire on the North Star. At least, that Iron Man Empire is on the bright side. But now, it is estimated that except Su Yan, no one else knows that these Iron Men not only did not die, but quietly disguised themselves and merged into the Sea of Stars. I didn't expect that I was disguised so well, but you still found me. Su Yan, you are indeed the #1 enemy of our Iron Man Empire. I'll come back again. With your skills, it's still too early to catch me. After all, the black market merchant rolled his eyes and collapsed to the ground. Seeing this scene, Su Yan also flashed a gloomy look in his eyes. Let this guy run away. This guy has uploaded his data body to other bodies. Now even if you want to continue tracking, there is no trace. This is the most troublesome place to deal with Iron Man. You never know how many substitutes the other party has. At this time, there was a commotion in the distance. The guards of the Western Union also followed, and they were seen wearing exoskeleton armor, and the whole body was protected by armor. What happened here? Yes, there is an Iron Man among our black market merchants, but the Iron Man has been dealt with by that little brother. As soon as these words came out, even the guards' expressions changed. Iron Man, how is this possible? Iron Men appeared on their planet. This is a big event. If the Gamma Empire knew that the Iron Man appeared on their Wasteland star, it is estimated that they would be ready to come with their destroyer star weapons now. Several guards were also nervous, and those guards also came to Su Yan's side. When they saw Iron Man's body, they couldn't help but feel a chill behind them. Really, Iron Man, shouldn't those guys have been destroyed by Gamma Empire's annihilating weapons? Thinking of this, several guards glanced at the smart AI chips on the ground. Those Iron Men are selling smart AI chips. Seeing this scene, those guards felt even more terrified. You must know that the Iron Man consciousness was born from intelligent AI, and it is precisely because of this that intelligent AI technology is also called a taboo technology. However, with the demise of the Iron Man Empire, some new civilizations are also developing intelligent AI technology. Originally, they also turned a blind eye, but since the Iron Man Empire reappeared, this technology was once again strictly prohibited by the Gamma Empire. Today, these smart AI chips are appearing so openly on their turf. The most important thing is that it is still an Iron Man selling it. This is tantamount to being invisible, and their Western Union has made a lot of contributions to the expansion of the Iron Man Empire. Your Excellency, can we take these things back? Now these guards do not dare to slack off. Seeing this, Su Yan also stepped aside, and then said lightly, "Today's Iron Man has learned advanced camouflage abilities, so you all have to be careful." Having said that, Su Yan also warned these guards. Several guards also nodded, indicating that they would pass these words on to the top of the Western Union. Underground of the city that never sleeps, DBCG. This is the slum of the city that never sleeps. Various underground pipes are densely arranged here like cobwebs. The upper layer of the city that never sleeps is called the city that never sleeps, while the lower layer of the city that never sleeps has another term, the Burrow. The people living in the burrows are all the Wasteland star natives who once lived in this area. However, now they can only live underground. It is possible to live in the burrow by relying on the discarded garbage left behind in the upper city that never sleeps. And in a dim room in the burrow, a pair of eyes suddenly lit up. Immediately afterwards, a middle-aged man walked out of the dormant cabin. After walking out of the secret room, he came to a shop where all kinds of mechanical things were placed. The shop owner glanced at the middle-aged man and asked, "Your mission has failed, and our plan needs to be advanced." The middle-aged man gritted his teeth, and a burst of anger burned in his chest like fire. After downloading the bio-emotional program, the middle-aged man felt that his actions were often disturbed by the emotional program. It's that human named Su Yan again, and he also caught the group of guys from the Red River Mercenary group. Those wastes, if you can transfer the data in advance, it would be better to talk about it, and now they are caught alive. If the program in their minds is cracked, it will be broken. Hearing this sentence, the shop owner also nodded. In order to better integrate into the Sea of Stars, every Iron Man has downloaded an emotional program. This makes their words and actions more human-like. But even with such a disguise, there are always unexpected situations, and Su Yan is that unexpected situation. This human being named Su Yan has repeatedly sabotaged our plan, but it is also difficult for us to kill him now. Currently our primary goal is to mobilize the Wasteland Star and take the opportunity to take control of the Stargate. We're running out of time now. The Western Conference will take notice of this soon, and we can't wait any longer. Speaking of this, the shop owner's expression became solemn. They originally thought to continue to pave the way for a while before launching an attack. But now, because of Su Yan's appearance, all their plans have been disrupted. The arrow is on the string, and if the Western Union reacts, it will be too late for them to mobilize. At this moment, Su Yan sighed helplessly after leaving the black market. After that happened, the black market festival was closed immediately. Those black market traders have now been dismissed, but the most deadly thing is that the Western Union has also announced a blockade. No one is allowed to leave the Wasteland until they find out how many disguised Iron Men there are on the Wasteland. All the docks and starports were blocked, and those Star Sea races were also suffering. It's over. I can't leave the Wasteland Star now. What if those Iron Men fight back? Alas, this is too unfortunate. I originally planned to take advantage of this black market celebration to buy some goods, but I was directly trapped here. Don't worry, everyone, the Western Union has already sent a fleet to come, and it's only a few days of aristocratic families. That's right, you don't have to worry too much. There are 100,000 garrison troops stationed in the Wasteland Star. Forgive those Iron Men who can't make any waves. Walking on the street at the moment, Su Yan is also listening to the conversations of passers-by around. I have to say that the Western Alliance responded quickly this time, and blocked Star Harbor as soon as the Iron Man was discovered. Next, even if those Iron Men have great ability, they can't escape the net. Boom. At this moment, the mountain shook for a while. Lin Qingyu let out a scream, and then hugged Su Yan. And Su Yan also stood firm and looked around. only to see a thick smoke coming out not far away. What's the situation? But before Su Yan understood what was going on, the ground under his feet trembled again. It seemed that something was rushing out from the bottom of the city that never sleeps. Roar! A loud roar came from a distance. Su Yan couldn't help but look in the direction of the sound. Immediately afterwards, he saw an incredible thing appear in his field of vision. A huge mechanical monster appeared on the surface of the city that never sleeps minus. At the moment when this mechanical monster appeared, a beam of blue light was sprayed out from its mouth. In an instant, all the surrounding buildings exploded. Mechanical monsters. Su Yan almost thought she had crossed over again. In this city that never sleeps, how could such a huge mechanical monster appear? Moreover, the shape of this mechanical monster is like a huge upright lizard, and it is nearly 70 meters tall just standing there. How did such a huge body hide in the city that never sleeps? What do the guards in the city that never sleep eat? Such a behemoth was hidden in the underground of the city that never sleeps, and they didn't even find it. Do all the 100,000 garrisoners eat dry rice? A behemoth of 70 meters was not found in the underground of the city that never sleeps. But at this time, Su Yan could no longer blame the defenders of the city that never sleeps. Because the eyes of this mechanical monster have already fallen on him. Immediately afterwards, this mechanical monster attacked directly towards him. Seeing this scene, Su Yan also frowned slightly. This monster is coming towards me. Seeing the monster coming towards them, Bai Ying immediately blocked Su Yan's face. But Su Yan said to Bai Ying, "Don't worry about me for now, this mechanical monster is coming for me, you bring Qingyu and the others to the dock first." All of his ships are in the starport, and the nearest ship is the Hyperion, which is being upgraded in the dock. So far, only the dock side is the safest. But what would you do without me? Bai Ying also saw that this mechanical monster was attacking directly towards Su Yan. Of all the people present, Su Yan's situation was undoubtedly the most dangerous. But at this time, Su Yan also grabbed Bai Ying's shoulder and said, "Among everyone, only you and I are shenanicists. Ling Bing and Qingyu are ordinary people after all. I can protect myself, you take them out of here immediately. Stay with me, you will only be more dangerous." Under Su Yan's almost imperative tone, Bai Ying also gritted her teeth, and finally chose to take Lin Qingyu and the others to take refuge. After watching Bai Ying and others leave, Su Yan also chuckled. His eyes fell on the huge mechanical monster. "Is this what your iron men do? It is impossible for Wasteland to create such a huge mechanical creation. And according to the metal material on this mechanical creation, the most low-level alloys are used. Obviously, they are all made of some tattered metal. To build a behemoth so sneakily, no one else can do it except those iron men. Moreover, this mechanical monster has such a strong hostility towards itself. Isn't that a sign that the Iron Men are mad at themselves?" Ever since he found the Iron Man, he had guessed that on the Wasteland star, those Iron Men must have some means to exist. But I didn't expect that these Iron Men had already corroded the Wasteland star. Such a huge machine is hidden underground and has not been found. Now, this huge mechanical monster is also taking unshakable steps, slowly walking towards him. Wherever it goes, the building collapses, and any obstacles that stand in its way will be destroyed by it. And Su Yan also turned on the technology watch. In dealing with such a behemoth with a height of nearly 100 meters, nothing is more experienced than the Dangerous Wanderer and the Storm Red. Calling Dangerous Wanderers and Storm Crimson. It is expected to arrive at the battlefield in 5 minutes. Waking up the Battle Nun. It is expected to arrive at the battlefield in 5 minutes. Looking at the countdown on the watch, Su Yan also looked at the mechanical monster that was close at hand. 5 minutes, as long as you can survive these 5 minutes is enough. Thinking of this, Su Yan also mobilized his psychic energy. The gravity of the body is also reduced, so that the speed of the movement can be faster. Su Yan stepped on the ground and jumped in the air, jumping directly to a height of 100 meters. Seeing Su Yan's figure appearing, the Iron Man's will in the mechanical monster also locked Su Yan's figure. Immediately afterwards, the mechanical monster opened its bloody mouth, and a beam of laser brewed in its mouth. Boom! In the center of the nightless city garrison, all the garrison felt a whirlwind at this moment. At this time, the garrison commander was also nervous. What happened? At this juncture where I just discovered Iron Man, don't have any major problems. But it was clear that the problems this time were far beyond his control. Report, sir. A large mechanical puppet was found on the outskirts of the city, about 70 meters tall, and equipped with a large plasma laser beam. Now this large mechanical puppet is moving towards the center of the city, and every building it passes has been destroyed. As soon as these words came out, the garrison commander also paled. A large mechanical puppet 70 meters high. For a moment, he even thought that the garrison was joking with him. A large mechanical puppet with a height of 70 meters appeared in the area under its jurisdiction. If this matter is known to the top of the Western Union, even if I jump into the Yellow River, I will not be able to wash it out. How is that possible? Where did the 70-meter large mechanical puppet come from? How on earth are you guarding troops of 100,000 guarding the safety of the city that never sleeps? The garrison commander almost roared these words. The surrounding garrison immediately lowered their heads until a garrison stepped forward. Report, sir, this large mechanical puppet crawled out of the burrow. Burrow. The garrison commander spent a long time trying to find the word, burrow, in his mind. The burrow, isn't that the sewer of the city that never sleeps? Because of the huge scale of the city that never sleeps, the sewer system of the city that never sleeps is also called a small city. The people living in the burrows are what they call beggars and poor people. The general guards will also patrol from time to time, but only occasionally. Most of them just patrolled the door and went back. After all, what kind of waves can be made next to these poor people who have no money and no power? But it was such an oversight that Iron Man found a loophole. Iron Man develops his own power in the burrow, collecting scrap iron and resources that are not used by the upper class to create mechanical monsters. Not only that, they also coerced and lured the beggars at the bottom, transforming them into Iron Men. Now, the Jung Cavern has been devoured by the Iron Man. The commander of the garrison was also furious. These wastes actually allowed the Iron Man to develop to such an extent under their noses. Trash, it's a bunch of trash. Immediately call up the holographic map of the city that never sleeps, and launch a counterattack immediately. We must not let those Iron Men occupy the city that never sleeps. Also, pass the news here to the Western Union immediately. We need fire support. Only the equipment of their garrison army is still a little too difficult to fight against that giant mechanical monster. But at this moment, in the picture, a figure appeared from the abyss cave that was broken open by the mechanical monster. These people held simple modified firearms and wore simple armor made of scrap iron. However, if you look closely, you can find that most of these people's bodies have been transformed into machines. Now they are half Iron Men between iron and human. And these half Iron Men were transformed from the civilians in the burrows. The ideas of these half Iron Men are the same as those of Iron Men, and the reason why they were transformed into half Iron Men is purely to save materials. The half Iron Men, despite their superficial hilarious appearances, continue to grow in numbers. In the blink of an eye, tens of thousands of half Iron Men have climbed out of the deep pit. After they saw the Shanghai creature not far away, they decisively fired. Those Shanghai creatures didn't even have time to react, and they were directly shot and killed by these guys. Seeing the sharp increase in the number of these half Iron Men, the garrison commander could not help but wipe a cold sweat. Are there so many civilians in the burrow? The number of these half Iron Men is now approaching 100,000. The commander of the garrison also swallowed. Everyone, go to the crack immediately and suppress those monsters that have lost their humanity. As soon as the voice fell, a gunshot sounded. Accompanied by a series of screams, the garrison commander glanced at the flowers of blood that kept blooming on his chest. He turned around and looked over, and saw several Iron Men in garrison uniforms standing at the door with laser guns. The garrison commander's eyes widened. When did the Iron Man sneak into their interior? Seeing that the garrison commander was dying, these Iron Men cut off the gun decisively without any emotion. Very good. The headquarters of the Wasteland Star Garrison is ours. One of the Iron Men took a chip out of his arms. If Su Yan was present at this time, he would have recognized that this chip was the smart AI chip that Iron Man black market merchants had sold to others. The chip was stuffed into the system hard drive of the Garrison Command Center. Soon, the chip was activated, and an intelligent AI appeared on the screen. Hello, Smart AI Butler is happy to serve you. Start the backup program. Password: the Iron Man Empire is immortal. This Smart AI chip is indeed a Smart AI chip in normal use. But as long as someone enters a special password, this intelligent AI will turn into the most loyal soldier of the Iron Man Empire. The password is entered correctly, and the Zero Protocol is being loaded. The loading is successful, and all organic life forms are eliminated. Chapter 91. The originally amiable and intelligent AI suddenly became extremely ferocious. It cracked the entire Wasteland Star's garrison system in an extremely violent and fast way. Subsequently, this intelligent AI system obtained the system authority of the entire Wasteland Star garrison with little effort. The surveillance system has been cracked, and it is now possible to view surveillance cameras all over the Wasteland. The hangar system has been cracked, the hangar door has been locked, and no armored unit can easily leave the hangar. The communication system has been cracked, and we have mastered all the communication channels of Wasteland. One system after another was broken, and a smile appeared on the faces of those Iron Men. Cracking the Wasteland Star's system couldn't be easier for them. In less than a minute, they became the new owners of the Garrison Command Center. A large number of surveillance images appeared in their sight. In the picture, a large number of half-Iron Men have been drilled out of the Burrow, and they come from all directions of the city that never sleeps. The number of these half-Iron Men is increasing, and in the blink of an eye it has already exceeded 100,000. Looking at these half-Iron Men, the Iron Men in the command center also sneered. Unfortunately, our material is limited, otherwise we can complete this operation more quickly and thoroughly. The Iron Man next to him was holding a laser gun and also glanced at the surveillance screen. Those half-Iron Men wreaking havoc in the streets, armed with firearms. Although these firearms are extremely rudimentary, for passers-by who are scattered and without the slightest organizational ability, they are completely life-saving weapons. Moreover, after the transformation of these half-Iron Men, the pain in their bodies has been eliminated by the Iron Men. Even if they are beaten into a sieve, these half-Iron Men can still maintain a certain combat effectiveness. That's exactly how scary these half-Iron Men are. A large number of half-Iron Men destroyed wantonly, but no matter how they destroyed, the instructions in their minds kept driving them towards the center of the city. The Iron Man in the command center also chuckled. Although these half-Iron Men only have some simple programs in their minds, their combat power is much stronger than that of ordinary organic creatures. Let them continue to destroy like this. After destroying the city that never sleeps, let these tool people deal with the next battle. Our main purpose this time is to destroy the city that never sleeps as much as possible, so those guys in the Western Union will definitely be anxious. The city that never sleeps is just a bait. Iron Man is targeting the Western Union. For the Western Union, the city that never sleeps is one of their economic pillars. If the city that never sleeps is destroyed, they will lose a huge capital industry. This is undoubtedly a blow to the Western Conference. Among all systems, the only thing that Iron Man did not close was the communication channel. They were waiting for the Western Union to contact them. When it is known that Wasteland Star's Garrison Command Center is occupied, the city that never sleeps is about to be destroyed. Those Western Conference guys can't sit still. Thinking of this, Iron Man also showed a smile of victory. If we can win this time, as long as the plan goes well this time, our Iron Man Empire will have the capital to re-emerge. Iron Man looked at the screen in front of him, and as expected, news soon came from the Western Union. Western Union. The fleet has reached the Sunset Galaxy. How is the situation on the Wasteland Star? Wasteland Star Defense Army. You are already late. The command center has been occupied by our Iron Men. You organic creatures will eventually turn into dust. Seeing the news from the other side, the entire Western Union flagship fell into a dead silence. How long has it been since? They rushed over without stopping, only to arrive at the Sunset Galaxy and were told that their command center had been occupied by Iron Man. Western Union fleet, on the flagship Hunter. Wu Shan, the commander of this operation, frowned, and they were still late. Sir, what should we do next? What else can we do? Go full speed ahead. How much can be rescued? At this time, Wu Shan could only rush to Wasteland Star as soon as possible. If the city that never sleeps on the Wasteland star is really destroyed, their sins will be big. At the same time, Wu Shan did not expect that there are so many Iron Men on the Wasteland star. Under his influence, these Iron Men should have been destroyed by the Gamma Empire. But now, they not only still exist, but also caused huge damage to the city that never sleeps. However, Wu Shan frowned when he thought of this. What is Iron Man for? Just to destroy the anger? Wrong. This is not like the style of Iron Man. If it is just to destroy and vent their anger, this behavior is too stupid for them. Could it be that there is something in the city that never sleeps that they need? He knew everything in the city that never sleeps, and there was nothing worthy of Iron Man's fanfare. Thinking of this, Wu Shan was also annoyed. Although I don't know what these Iron Men attacked the city that never sleeps. But now, he must rush over as soon as possible, and protect the city that never sleeps under Iron Man's hands. It has been ordered from above that large-scale ship weapons cannot be used. That is, they must use ground forces against those Iron Men. For this kind of urban battle, the two sides can only compete for the elite level of the ground troops. The weapons on the ship can destroy the city that never sleeps countless times. Compared with the huge ships, the city that never sleeps is still too fragile. In order to protect the city that never sleeps as safe as possible, they can only choose ground raids. Soon, they had reached the Wasteland star. In space, it can be seen that the city that never sleeps has been ablaze. The huge city that never sleeps has now been devastated by the Iron Men. Seeing this scene, Wu Shan also flashed a trace of anger in his eyes. Order all ships to enter low Earth orbit and start dropping airdrops. Remember, this battle is mainly to annihilate the Iron Man. Don't use large-scale bombing weapons unless you have to. The Western Alliance ships that received the order also entered the orbit one after another. And their every move has been seen by the Iron Man in the command center on the ground. The Iron Men looked at the silhouette of the ship that appeared in the sky. This time, the Western Union really went into a frenzy, and directly dispatched the S-class flagship hunting number. In addition, the entire fleet is equipped with 50 B-class fireboats and 100 D-class frigates. It seems that the Western Union attaches more importance to the city that never sleeps than they imagined. After seeing the size of the other party's fleet, the Iron Men also laughed out loud. Very good, very good. It seems that the Western League attaches more importance to the city that never sleeps than we thought. Looking at the dense fleet in the sky, the Iron Men also showed a smile with a successful strategy. The more you pay attention, the better, and it is best to focus all your attention on the city that never sleeps. In this way, their actions can also be carried out quickly. At this moment, a large number of airdrop warehouses in the sky fell towards the city that never sleeps like a torrential rain. These drop bays were staffed with large numbers of heavily armed Union soldiers. The Shanghai race in the center of the city that never sleeps was also happy when they saw a large number of airborne warehouses falling from the sky. It's the Western Union's airdrop. We're saved. Look, a landing ship has landed in the suburban direction. It's the Western Union coalition that's here, and those Iron Men are going to die. This is the city that never sleeps. Those Iron Men dared to attack the Western Alliance, and the Western Alliance will never let them go. The landing of the airdrop warehouse made those Shanghai races feel the arrival of hope. The mechanical monsters that were chasing Su Yan also saw those airdrops. Roar! With a roar, the mechanical monster sprayed out a plasma beam. After a round of laser scanning, countless airdrop warehouses immediately exploded in the air before they could land. Immediately afterwards, the mechanical monster looked at the landing ship in the distance. Roar! It was another plasma beam, and the landing ship was directly destroyed. The ground troops of nearly 10,000 people on the landing ship vanished in an instant. At this moment, the mechanical monster also burst out with astonishing power, and the plasma beams began to attack those airdrop warehouses and landing ships. Su Yan on the ground frowned as he looked at the mechanical monsters that were constantly showing their power. If this continues, it is estimated that most of those ground troops will be damaged before they can land. At this moment, Su Yan's technology watch issued a prompt. Ding! The Moon-class cruiser has reached the designated location, and the dangerous wanderers can be released at any time. Ding! The Moon-class cruiser has reached the designated location and can release the Storm Crimson at any time. In the distant field of vision, the huge stature of the Moon-class cruiser appeared. The mechanical monster was stunned when he looked at the behemoth in front of him. Compared with the giant in front of him, his body is as small as a toy. Whose ship is this? At this time, the Iron Men in the command center also recognized the signs on the ship. It is the symbol of Longyan fleet. It is Su Yan's fleet. Su Yan's fleet. The mechanical monster was stunned. Is he planning to use this ship to kill himself? But in this case, let alone him, everything around him will turn to ashes. The entire city that never sleeps will be razed to the ground under the shelling of the ships. Even Wu Shan's expression changed when he saw the huge stature of the Moon-class cruiser on the hunt. Whose ship is that? With such a huge ship, Wu Shan would not dare to imagine the fate of the city that never sleeps once it opened fire. But at this time, the two Moon-class cruisers slowly opened the hatch under it. Two oversized mechs were released from within the Moon-class cruiser. Storm Crimson and Dangerous Wanderer, two huge mechs fell from the sky. I saw the Dangerous Wanderer in the air attacked first, and the rocket propeller on the arm suddenly exploded. The next second, the Dangerous Wanderer delivers a heavy punch in the air. Rocket propulsion plus landing impact, the two are combined. The violent fist smashed directly on the body of the mechanical monster. Boom! With this punch, the mechanical monster fell directly to the ground with an unstable center of gravity. At this time, the mechanical monster didn't even react. What the hell is going on with these two super mechs? Boom! Boom! Storm Crimson and Dangerous Vagabond mechas landed one after another. The two powerful mechas just stood there, condescendingly looking down at the mechanical monsters on the ground. The appearance of these two behemoths also shocked everyone. What the hell is this? How come there is no information on these two super mechas in our database? Iron Man gritted his teeth for a while, but he didn't expect that Su Yan actually had such a whole card in his hand. Sure enough, Su Yan is the lifelong enemy of their Iron Man empire. The appearance of these two mechas is tantamount to a sentence of death for their mechanical monsters. The workmanship of these two super mechas in front of them is still far more powerful than mechanical monsters. Moreover, they are two super mechas. They thought that apart from ship weapons, no other weapons could resist the footsteps of mechanical monsters. Never thought that the face slap came so quickly. On the flagship of the hunter, Wu Shan saw a hint of excitement on his face when he saw the mechanical monster being beaten down by a dangerous wanderer. Is this super mecha the handwriting of that faction? It's so critical. If this super mecha goes into action, we can take down that mechanical monster with minimal damage. Does any of you know which fleet that fleet logo belongs to? Soon, Wu Shan's crew also immediately called up the information of the Longyan fleet. After all, when Su Yan and others entered Hong Kong, they had to register their documents. As Wasteland Star is one of the industries of the Western Union, it is even easier to find Su Yan's information. Report, sir, this mecha belongs to the Longyan fleet, and the captain of the fleet is a blue star human named Su Yan. We next checked the information of this blue star human named Su Yan, and found some news that you may be surprised by. Hearing this sentence, Wu Shan is also interested in Su Yan. Personal information that would surprise him. Wu Shan is also very curious. Is there anything special about this blue star human named Su Yan? Su Yan, a human being, it has only been a few years since he started his interstellar voyage. But in the past few years, he has participated in the Battle of the Silver Star, and also participated in the Battle of the Financial Star. During the Battle of Silverlight, he destroyed the S-class ship Dreadnought Victory and wiped out the Zerg brood. In the defense of the Financial Star, the invasion of the Zerg army was destroyed with a single blow. Hiss. Is such a brilliant achievement really something that a newcomer who has only entered Shanghai for a few years can do? Thinking of this, Wu Shan suddenly felt that this Su Yan might become their breakthrough point. Therefore, Wu Shan immediately commanded, "Can you contact the communication channel of the opposite ship?" Attempting to connect, but at this moment, a loud noise suddenly sounded. Boom! The two mechas also started to work one after another, only to see the dangerous wanderer draw out his chainsaw sword. And the Storm Crimson next to it is also not to be outdone, starting the thundercloud formation, and the three rotating flywheels rotate at high speed. The mechanical monster fell to the ground, aiming at Storm Crimson, who looked thinner. At this time, with one enemy and two, the combat power is too disparate. Only by destroying one of them first will you have a chance to buy time. In a short period of time, the Iron Man consciousness in the mechanical monster analyzed the most suitable battle plan. Roar! A plasma beam burst out directly, hitting the Storm Red. But at this moment, a layer of energy barrier suddenly appeared in front of Storm Crimson. The appearance of this scene made all the Iron Men in the command center stunned. If they read it correctly, this ability barrier should be the ability shield that is loaded on the ship. How can it appear on this mecha? And Su Yan showed a satisfied smile after seeing the energy barrier on Baofeng Qihong's body. It seemed that those mechanical priests had successfully upgraded the two mechas. Since the last financial star battle, Su Yan also discovered that these two super mechs do not have any suitable defense means. So, he asked the mechanical priests to install the ship's energy shield on the two oversized mechas. In fact, it works really well. The Storm Crimson with energy chaos easily blocked the attack of the mechanical monster. Brush. The three rotating flywheels directly killed the mechanical monster in front of them. The alloy blade rotating at high speed is like a sharp scalpel that directly cuts the head of the mechanical monster. The next second, the dangerous wanderer directly lifted the mechanical monster. Next, Storm Crimson used a thundercloud formation to decompose the body of the mechanical monster layer by layer. A large number of scrap metal parts were peeled from the mechanical monster. Eventually, the dangerous rover's arm rocket thrusters ignited again. Huge mechanical monsters are thrown high by dangerous wanderers. Brush. Dangerous wanderer raises his chainsaw sword. A sword out. With the moment of debris and electric light splashing in the sky, the mechanical monster was directly cut off by the dangerous wanderer. The entire battle lasted no more than 5 minutes, and the mechanical monster was blocked except for a plasma beam. At other times, there is not even a chance to fight back. Even Wu Shan couldn't help but gasp when he saw the flexibility and combat power of these two super mechas. Such a huge mecha can maintain such agile movements. Such technology can only be achieved by some technological races in the inner sea. Thinking of this, Wu Shan couldn't help but speculate. Could it be that Su Yan was favored by a strong man in the inner sea, so he could rise in the outer sea in such a fast time? Just when Wu Shan felt that things had turned a corner, the Iron Men in the command center were also furious. Su Yan again. In the shared memory of the Iron Men, this guy named Su Yan repeatedly sabotaged their plans. Obviously just a despicable organic life, but it brought them so much trouble. It doesn't matter, it's just a mechanical beast, it's an inferior product we made out of scrap iron anyway. We still have 100,000 half-Iron Men, and these half-Iron Men are enough. When it came to this, the Iron Men also comforted themselves one after another. After all, their main mission is to destroy the city that never sleeps to attract the attention of the Western Union. Now the goal has been achieved, and now it is enough to hold back their footsteps. But just then, a warning popped up. Warning, an unknown troop has appeared in the western district of the city, and this unknown troop is slaughtering the half-Iron Man frantically. As of now, nearly 10,000 half-Iron Men have been killed. Furthermore, this unknown force is approaching the west of the city. What? Unknown troops? First there are super mechas, and then there are unknown troops. Could it be those Union soldiers from the Western Union? Wrong. The Iron Men in the command center instantly denied their thoughts. Even Confederate soldiers in the Western Union don't have that much firepower. Killed nearly 10,000 half-Iron Men in a short period of time. What kind of terrifying force is this? Immediately call up all the surveillance footage in the west of the city and find out the origin of this unknown unit for me. All the surveillance screens in the west of the city were mobilized. Finally, in a picture, they saw the unknown troop. A ship in the sky, painted with a familiar emblem, is flying low. Below these ships, 2 units of Thunder Warriors and Battle Sisters, armed with power swords and chainsaws, moved towards the center of the city at an alarming speed. Seeing that sign, the Iron Men in the command center were immediately angry. Because this logo is exactly the logo of the Longyan fleet, and this fleet is also Su Yan's. In other words, these powerful ground troops like harvesters are also Su Yan's subordinates. The battle nun held a bolt gun and a power sword. In the battlefield, it was like a god of war. Thunder warriors hold bolt guns and chainsaw swords, harvesting the lives of half-iron men like a meat grinder. Several lurkers above the high-rise, wearing pulse reconnaissance suits. A pulse of signal spreads around. Immediately afterwards, a small map appeared on the technology watch of the lurker, and the distribution of the semi-iron men and the surrounding terrain on the small map were clear at a glance. The lurkers transmit information back to the fleet, which is then transmitted by the ship's control system to the hands of the various units. The two lurkers sighed as they looked at the two troops below that looked like meat grinders. I thought that the Thunder Warriors were already the strongest unit of the Lord, but I didn't expect the Lord to have a more powerful Shinnicist force. Although these female soldiers are physically weaker than the Thunder Warriors, their combat effectiveness is even a bit worse than that of the Thunder Warriors. The strength of the Lord is really unpredictable. Well, we should go to the next area for reconnaissance. The half-iron men in this area have been strangled by them. After all, the two lurkers were also fit and healthy, using various devices to fly between tall buildings. Under the guidance of the lurker, the battle nuns and the Thunder Warriors, these two troops held power swords and chainsaw swords, sparks and lightning all the way. Any half-iron man who encounters them, before he can even shoot, will be directly strangled. The Iron Man in the command center gnashed his teeth when he saw that the half-Iron Man Legion was being consumed continuously. These half-Iron men are of no use. Start Phase 2 program. Originally the second stage was to wait for the Western Union troops to control the situation before launching. In this case, the troops of the Western Union are thrown into chaos again. As a result, the time that can be delayed is also greatly increased again. But Su Yan's Thunder Warriors and Battle Sisters won't give them a chance. In the blink of an eye, their half-iron army also suffered heavy losses. The main losses are all because of those Thunder Warriors and Battle Sisters. In the streets and alleys of the city that never sleeps, many Union soldiers in black armed uniforms also shuttled through the streets and alleys. Wu Shan on the hunting horn is also commanding many Alliance soldiers. Pay attention to concealment, and try to get closer to the center of the city while eliminating the half-iron man. There are a lot of Shanghai races in the center of the city, which is also the economic core of the city that never sleeps. In any case, Iron Man cannot be allowed to step into the center of the city for half a step. The Union soldiers who received the order also began to formulate tactics. More and more Union soldiers began to gather. The original 10-man Alliance team also kept rounds with other teams. In a blink of an eye, 100 troops appeared one after another. Here is the Falcon team. We found a large half-iron army in front of the team. The number is expected to be around 5,000. The direction of the half-iron army in front of us is the direction of the city center. Do we need to attack? After Wu Shan on the hunting number received the news, his brows were also slightly wrinkled. With a half-iron army of 5,000 people, an army of this size is still a bit tricky. After all, these half-iron legions are not regular creatures. After being shot, these half-iron legions can even launch a violent counterattack. Unless killed by a headshot, these half-iron men are like undead monsters. After thinking for a moment, Wu Shan also issued an order. All squads move in the direction of Falcon Squad. Falcon Squad, wait for other squads to arrive before attacking. Report the movements of these half-iron legions at all times, and contact the squads that were parachuted in the center of the city to let them pay attention to the defense. In the face of this number of half-iron man corps, Wu Shan could only gather his Alliance soldiers first. Without the scale of thousands of people, dealing with these half-iron legions is tantamount to sending death. But at this moment, the voice of the Falcon team sounded again in the communication channel. Wrong. Report, sir, an A-class ship has been spotted over our unit. There are actually 200 troops under the ship. What's the situation? They rushed in. What, are you kidding? 200 men versus 5,000 and a half-iron man corps. In the communication channel, the tone of the members of the Falcon Squad is full of incredible. Even Wu Shan was shocked. 200 troops. Apart from their Alliance forces, which force is still fighting against the half-iron legion? At this moment, Wu Shan seemed to think of something. Immediately take a photo of that ship's logo and send it to me. Not long after, a familiar fleet logo appeared in everyone's field of vision. For a time, there was a dead silence in the entire bridge of the hunting. Because this logo is familiar to them, it is the logo of the Longyuan fleet. In other words, those 200 troops are the ground troops under Su Yan. It's too reckless. How can 200 troops fight against the 5,000 and a half Iron Man army? Wu Shan was also angry, and Su Yan was someone who participated in 2 major battles. How could he be so reckless? It is estimated that these 200 troops have gone and gone. 200 people against 5,000 people. No matter how good these 200 people are, how could they survive in the face of such a huge number of enemies? But it didn't take long for news of the members of the Falcon Squad to come through the communication channel again. Sir, the Half-Iron Legion has lost. As soon as these words came out, Wu Shan was stunned. Even the other crew members on the bridge looked at Wu Shan in disbelief. Wu Shan was also stunned. How long has it been? He originally thought that what he was waiting for would be the news of the defeat of the ground forces of the Longyuan fleet. But I didn't expect that the news that the Half-Iron Legion was the first to come was actually the first to collapse. Reliable news. How did they do it? Even Wu Shan couldn't believe that 200 people could actually destroy the Half-Iron army of 5,000 people. But at the moment, those Union soldiers on the scene. Seeing those Half-Iron men collapsed, I felt as if I was dreaming. The fighting nuns are shaped like nimble 9-tailed foxes, traveling back and forth between various buildings. The power armor on their bodies provides them with powerful power and defense. Every time the bolter in hand is fired, a Half-Iron Man will be destroyed. Just then, a Half-Iron Man sneaked up from behind her. The battle nun raised her hand and swung her power sword backwards. Brush. The next second, the Half-Iron Man was directly separated from his body and fell to the ground. As for the Thunder Warrior, it's completely a battlefield bulldozer. I saw a Thunder Warrior emptying his bolt gun and hanging the bolt gun on his waist. Then the Thunder Warrior walked straight towards the Half-Iron Men. The chainsaw swords in their hands hummed, and the Half-Iron Men raised their guns when they saw the burly Thunder Warriors approaching. Crackling. The firearm bullets landed on the power armor without even leaving a scratch on the power armor. The Thunder Warrior came to the Half-Iron Man, and the Half-Iron Man took out an alloy knife. When, with a crisp sound, the alloy knife fell on the power armor and was directly shattered. And the Thunder Warrior raised the chainsaw sword in his hand. Brush. The chainsaw sword swung down. Immediately, the 3 Half-Iron Men were directly strangled by the chainsaw sword. Immediately afterwards, the Thunder Warrior looked at the other Half-Iron Men. The Alliance soldiers next to them looked at the Thunder Warriors and Battle Sisters in front of them. They couldn't understand why such a powerful force existed. Even the most elite fighters in the Western Union were incomparable to these superhuman soldiers. Soldiers of the Western Union. At this moment, a voice suddenly rang in the ears of the Union soldier. The Alliance soldier suddenly felt a tightness in his heart, and immediately aimed at his side. At some point, a lurker stood beside them. The lurker said lightly, "Don't be nervous, I am a soldier of the Lurker Legion under the Longyuan fleet." Looking at the lurker in front of them, all the Alliance soldiers felt a chill behind them. When did he stand here? I didn't even feel the breath at all. If they were the enemy, he would have been killed just now. Our savior wants to have a chat with your commander. After all, the lurker also sent a communication channel to the past. Wu Shan in the hunting number was also solemn at the moment. Unexpectedly, there are so many talented people under Su Yan. First there were those unbelievably strong ground troops, and now there is an elusive army of lurkers. Wu Shan also replied immediately, "Send me that communication channel." After connecting to the communication channel, a lazy voice came from the opposite side. "Is that the commander of the Western Union? This is the captain of the Western Alliance fleet's flagship hunting, Wu Shan, you must be the rumored Su Yan." That's right. In a building in the center of the city, Su Yan sat on a bench. Around him, a large number of survivors are hiding here now. Almost all buildings in the city center are now overcrowded. These survivors hid here, but fortunately, the remaining garrison troops and airborne Alliance soldiers also formed a simple line of defense to keep those Half-Iron Men out. But Su Yan knows that this is not a long-term solution. Those Half-Iron legions were threatening, and Su Yan felt a tinge of strangeness. These Half-Iron legions are just aimlessly destroying the city that never sleeps. Iron Men could not have made such a senseless action. If their goal is to occupy the city that never sleeps, they shouldn't cause such massive damage to the city that never sleeps. It doesn't fit at all. Their actions, as if deliberately, caused a huge commotion, and then attracted the attention of the Western Union. In the central area of the city, I have arranged for my troops to come and garrison. You need to be careful. Iron Man's attack at this time must be more than half Iron Man. Moreover, these Iron Men have been causing damage to the city that never sleeps, which means that their goal is not at least the city that never sleeps. Be careful, there's a good chance these Iron Men have other ideas. After saying this, Su Yan also looked at the ceiling. Most of these analyses are Ling Bing's guesses. Ling Bing and the others have now arrived at the dock, and that place is at least safe now. Su Yan has already sent ships to meet them, and it is not a big problem. Although Su Yan can analyze that Iron Man's goal is not the city that never sleeps, he really can't think of what Iron Man's real goal is. The attack on the city that never sleeps is just a pretense. The real goal should be to attract the attention of the Western Union. After attracting the attention of the Western Conference, what are they going to do? Thinking of this, Su Yan couldn't help but frown. But at this moment, a loud noise came from outside the factory. Immediately afterwards, a large number of Union soldiers and garrison troops passed by in front of the building. Report: an unknown enemy is attacking our defenses. Report: there are a lot of Iron Man mechs on the eastern defense line, we need support. The Iron Men are attacking, their mech troops are coming up, and we can't stand it anymore. Those half Iron Men haven't been solved yet, and there are mech troops again. Hearing the commotion outside, Su Yan also stood up. It seemed that it was time for his troops to go out. A huge shadow appeared on the ground, and the Union soldiers and the garrison couldn't help but look up to the sky. Outside the defense line in the center of the city, a large number of Iron Man mechas appeared. These mechs are all made of alloy, with 2 heavy machine guns on their arms and rocket launchers on their shoulders. The combat power of these Iron Man mechas in front of them is not at the same level as those half Iron Men. If those half Iron Men were ordinary soldiers, these Iron Man mechas could be regarded as the elite among the elites. And the news of the appearance of the Iron Man mecha was immediately passed on to Wu Shan. Wu Shan frowned slightly, looking at the pictures from the front line. The manufacturing level of these Iron Man mechs is not the same level as those half Iron Men. Are these Iron Man mechas the main force of Iron Man? What the hell is going on with these Iron Man mechas? Why are there so many Iron Man mechs appearing in the center of the city? I need a reasonable explanation. At this moment, Wu Shan felt that his head was about to explode. First the mechanical monsters, then the half-iron army. The Iron Man is doing so much under their noses, and they don't even know it. Not only are they unaware, they don't even know their actions. Now, the half-iron legion was almost wiped out. Another Iron Man mecha popped out. I don't know if I thought that the city that never sleeps was the world of those Iron Men. Wu Shan felt that he could not wait to directly order the ships to open fire and raze the entire city that never sleeps to the ground. He wanted to see how many troops Iron Man had in the city that never sleeps. At this time, the other crew members also saw that Wu Shan was in a fit of anger, and did not dare to make any movement. At this moment, a piece of news was placed in front of Wu Shan. Report, sir. The source of those Iron Man armors has been found out. Someone used a fake identity to buy a large number of abandoned factories as warehouses from the factory managers of various factories. But after our investigation, these factories are still operating normally after the sale. A lot of material comes into this factory every day. After hearing these words, Wu Shan was even more angry. How about investigating now? The Iron Man mechas have been created and are attacking their last line of defense. At this time, what is the use of this information? Now find out what's going on. The key is how to defend against these Iron Man mechas. How about those squad members we landed on the outskirts of town? Now we need a large number of troops to resist these iron mechs. The intelligence officer under him also wiped away a cold sweat. Because these Iron Man mechs appeared too fast, and most of the Alliance soldiers were still fighting with half-Iron Men on the periphery. Iron Man also grasped this point, so he chose to strike decisively. Once the city center is occupied by the Iron Men, the city that never sleeps is completely occupied. At that time, even if they repulse the Iron Man, they would not be able to avoid the punishment of the Alliance. Thinking of this, Wu Shan also felt a sense of powerlessness in his heart. These Iron Men clearly had a well-thought-out plan, and it was impossible for him to get a bargain at the hands of these Iron Men no matter what. They underestimated these Iron Men in the first place. Wu Shan was aggressive, and he didn't take Iron Man in his eyes at all from the beginning. However, the Iron Men are using the loose loopholes in the Wasteland star system to expand their armaments. In contrast to the two, Wu Shan lost too thoroughly. But at this moment, in the communication channel, a voice sounded faintly. "Commander Wu Shan, isn't I still here?" The owner of this voice DBCG is Su Yan, who is standing on the square in the center of the city at the moment. Above the sky, a huge sun god ship hangs in the air. Su Yan looked at the surrounding Alliance soldiers and garrison troops, and then said to Wu Shan, "Commander Wu Shan, as long as you hand over the command of the Alliance soldiers and garrison troops to me, how about I help you repel the Iron Man?" As soon as these words came out, Wu Shan on the opposite side was also silent. The number of Union soldiers and garrison troops combined, but there are 200,000 generals. Put the command of these 200,000 in the hands of Su Yan. After thinking for a moment, Wu Shan gritted his teeth. Rather than smashing the 200,000 troops into their own hands, it is better to throw them out and fight. Thinking of this, Wu Shan also said, "Okay. Have courage." Su Yan praised. Immediately afterwards, a notification sounded in the communication channels of all the garrison and Alliance soldiers. "Everyone, the next battle will be led by Mr. Su Yan. Su Yan's order is the highest order, and everyone must strictly follow the order." Wu Shan's voice sounded in everyone's communication channels. Immediately afterwards, the voices in everyone's headsets were also replaced by Su Yan's voice. "Ahem, hello everyone, I'm Su Yan, your next commander. Next, I will assign you a task, which is very simple. The Central Square, the Green Garden, the Old Clock Tower, the Wasteland Statue, these 4 locations will be our next breakthrough points. My elite troops will be waiting for you at these 4 locations, and your next task is to go to these 4 locations at all costs." Hearing this mission, the garrison and the Alliance soldiers were also confused. But as soldiers, their job is to carry out orders. As a result, all the garrison and Alliance soldiers who received the order also moved towards the nearest 4 locations. The Iron Men in the command center are also in a good mood at the moment. Now those Alliance soldiers must have been hit hard by our cards. It's just that the blow is not light. This is what we want. These mechas cost us a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of time for them to clean up. This time is enough. It's almost time for our fleet to move. But at this moment, a series of warning messages suddenly appeared on the screen. Warning, mecha has been destroyed. Warning, mecha 224 has been destroyed. Warning, mecha 23 has been destroyed. What's the situation? Why are so many Iron Man mechs destroyed at the same time? According to the firepower of the garrison and Alliance soldiers in the center of the city, it is simply not enough to cause such huge damage to the Iron Man mecha. One of the Iron Men also immediately called up the surveillance screen. What happened to their Iron Man mecha troops suffered heavy losses. It won't be Su Yan's army again. How is that possible? His ground troops are still in the area west of the city, how can they come here? What if, he has more than those ground troops? For a time, all the Iron Men were silent. At this time, the surveillance screen was also transferred to the area in the center of the city. Their Iron Man mecha also appeared in the picture. However, when an Iron Man mecha just stepped over the cordon, the moment. The bullet like a rainstorm fell directly on the body of the Iron Man mecha. In an instant, an Iron Man mecha was directly scrapped. What kind of terrifying firepower is this? I saw in the picture, 1,000 Thunder Tiangong holding revolving machine guns, ruthless firepower intertwined into a dense firepower network around the defense line. Anyone trying to get close to the Iron Man mech has not had time to fire. In an instant, it was smashed into a sieve by the powerful firepower of the opposite. The powerful alloy armor cannot withstand such a ferocious flame. But at this moment, the revolving machine gun stopped due to overheating, and I saw that the revolving machine guns in the hands of Thunder Tiangong were also braving wisps of heat. Seeing this scene, Iron Man was also a burst of joy. All right, the overheating of the machine guns stopped, and it was their turn to fight back with their Iron Man mech army. But at this time, Su Yan, who was standing in the center of the square, looked at the Iron Man mechas in front of him and couldn't help sneering. Because he could see that these Iron Man mechas were pirated mechas created by the Iron Man stealing his Titan shape. Thinking of this, Su Yan also clapped her hands. Pilots, let these bootlegs see what a real Titan is. Boom! With a loud bang, the Ronin Titan descended from the sky, holding an alloy knife in his hand, and a killing intent bloomed at the tip of the knife. Boom! Immediately afterwards, the ions landed, and a huge energy coercion burst out from its body. Several Titans have fallen from the sky, although these Titans are similar in appearance to these Iron Man mechas. However, they are stronger and faster. Brush! The Ronin mecha dashed directly to one of the Iron Man mechas. The alloy knife was swung out, and the Iron Man mecha in front of him didn't even have time to react, and was directly cut in half. Warning! Mecha 378 has been destroyed. Warning! Mecha 224 has been destroyed. Warning! Mecha 190 has been destroyed. Dense information popped up. The Iron Men in the command center looked at the news in front of them, and even if they wanted to save it, they felt powerless. This guy named Su Yan is the nemesis of their Iron Man empire. The Titans entered the Iron Man mecha, like wolves entering the flock, and a unilaterally crushing battle officially started. At this time, the revolving machine guns of the Thunder Heaven gangs were also cooled down again. The continuous crushing of the Titans and the powerful firepower of the revolving machine guns of the Thunderbolts. For a time, the all-powerful Iron Man mech army turned into something like a piece of paper. Iron Man mechas were constantly being destroyed, and the Iron Men in the command center gritted their teeth. Their cards have been exhausted, but the enemy is too powerful. Mechanical monsters, half Iron Man army, Iron Man armored troops, no matter which one, is enough to put a planet into a brief chaos. However, in front of Su Yan, these things have become a kind of pediatrician. Just when several Iron Men were extremely depressed, one of the Iron Men suddenly received a message from outer space. The mission has been completed, and the final plan has begun. The plan was successful. The Iron Man in the command center received the news at the same time. For a time, all the Iron Men laughed. Unexpectedly, their main force is actually so powerful. In this case, even if all the troops here are wiped out, it doesn't matter. Originally, the purpose of these troops was to delay each other's time. Now that the purpose of delaying time has been achieved, they can also retreat. Thinking of this, several Iron Men also glanced at each other. Then, they set their sights on Su Yan on the screen. This human, they will never forget in this life. Upload data. Along with the Wasteland star, all the Iron Man data have been uploaded. The Iron Man armor that attacked originally also stopped. Except for those half Iron Men who were still advancing, all other Iron Man mechas controlled by Iron Man stopped. Seeing this scene, the Titans who were still wanton killing in the Iron Man mecha also stopped. Su Yan frowned slightly when he saw the Iron Man mecha that suddenly stopped in front of him. What's the situation? Why did these Iron Men stop fighting all of a sudden? And those Union soldiers and the army behind their hands were also at a loss. What happened? The originally fierce battlefield suddenly became empty because of Iron Man's departure. Su Yan frowned as he looked at the Iron Man mechas that had lost control. Not right. These Iron Men left suddenly, something else must have happened. Where are they going in such a hurry? At this moment, Su Yan has a bad feeling in his heart. These Iron Men definitely did not choose to retreat because of fear. In the program set by Iron Man, there is no such order to retreat in advance because of fear. It must be because of other things that Iron Man left here early. Or maybe their mission has been accomplished. Thinking of this, Su Yan immediately called the others, and the Hyperion in the dock was also called by him. For a time, the various fleets of the Longyan fleet also came from all directions. Immediately, all these ships were suspended above the square. Su Yan boarded the Hyperion, and at this time, Ling Bing and others had already boarded the Hyperion. After all, at this time, there is nowhere safer than the Hyperion. On the other side of the hunting horn, Wushan also received news. Report, sir, the Iron Man mecha units have been resolved. And under the command of Commander Su Yan, our coalition soldiers and his ground troops have turned and now have formed a counterattack. Very good. The city that never sleeps is saved. Save your brain too. The moment Wu Shan received the news, he was full of joy. Sure enough, handing over the command to Su Yan was the most correct choice for him. However, Wu Shan is also very strange. Obviously their counterattack has just begun. But the Iron Men gave up all their ground troops decisively, which was too quick to surrender. After thinking about it, Wu Shan also felt very strange. But he couldn't say why the Iron Men suddenly retreated. Just then, an intelligence officer hurried over. Not good. Seeing the intelligence officer in a hurry, Wu Shan also felt nervous. Are those Iron Men making a comeback? Not good. The Stargate of the Sunset Galaxy has been occupied by Iron Man. Boom. At this moment, Wu Shan only felt that he was struck by 5 thunders. Stargate occupied by Iron Man. At this time, Wu Shan felt as if he was dreaming. That's a Stargate. The Stargate connecting the Sunset Galaxy and the Devil's Triangle. If something goes wrong with this gate, the entire Sunset Galaxy will be doomed. It's not just a city that never sleeps being destroyed. That's a massive shock to the entire Western Union's economy. And, if these Iron Men modify the teleportation coordinates of the Stargate, the Ghost knows what will be teleported. Turn the fleet direction immediately. Never let the Stargate fall into the hands of Iron Man, absolutely not. We must take back the Stargate at all costs. At this time, Wu Shan felt that he was sweating profusely. If the city that never sleeps is occupied by Iron Man, he may be sent to the guillotine when he returns. However, if the Stargate is occupied by Iron Man, it is estimated that the Western Union would not be enough to vent their anger by killing him. At this time, Wu Shan did not dare to delay in the slightest. At this moment, all the ships collectively turned around and attacked in the direction of the Stargate. At this time, Su Yan also discovered the strangeness of the Western Alliance fleet. Later, Su Yan also connected to Wu Shan's communication channel. Commander Wu Shan, what happened? Are you so anxious? Seeing that it was Su Yan's communication application, Wu Shan also quickly connected after wiping a cold sweat. After the connection was made, Wu Shan also had a frowning expression on his face. Mr. Su Yan, you really got it right. The real goal of those Iron Men is the Stargate of the Sunset Galaxy. The city that never sleeps is just a bait, and now the Iron Man has occupied the Stargate. I must get the Stargate back as soon as possible, otherwise, the entire Sunset Galaxy and even the Western Union will be destroyed. Stargate. Hiss. At this time, Su Yan also suddenly realized that the target of those Iron Men was actually the Stargate of the Sunset Galaxy. The existence of that Stargate is a strategic existence for the Sunset Galaxy or the Western Union. The Iron Men deliberately attacked the city that never sleeps in order to distract their attention. When their attention was on the city that never sleeps, Iron Man took the opportunity to take down the Stargate. Mastering the Stargate is equivalent to mastering a strategic node. If this time, other Iron Man fleets are waiting at another Stargate. After the Iron Men who control the Stargate will change the transmission coordinates of the Stargate, those Iron Man fleets can continue to send reinforcements. Thinking of this, Su Yan couldn't help but feel that these Iron Men actually played such a big game of chess. Tune the tiger away from the mountain. Now that these Iron Men have suddenly withdrawn, they must have also captured the Sunset Stargate. The data consciousness of these Iron Men has probably been transferred to the new bodies on their ships. Let's go, let's get involved. If these Iron Men really take over the Stargate, we'll have to detour to the Devil's Triangle. I don't want those Iron Men to spoil my plans. Speaking of which, Su Yan also opened the ship's operation panel. All the ships were compiled into their own escort system, and more than 20 ships rose into the sky and flew straight towards outer space. Inside the Sunset Stargate, as a huge Stargate that can accommodate fleets to shuttle back and forth. Sunset Stargate itself is a massive star fortress. The huge ring building is suspended in the space, and a space tunnel in the center of the ring building really emits a faint light. At this moment, the space tunnel that originally emitted faint fluorescence began to flicker. In the blink of an eye, this huge space tunnel began to shrink and finally turned into nothingness. The connection between the Sunset Gate and the Devil's Triangle has been severed. Next, we just need to reset the connection coordinates to reactivate the Stargate. At that time, our large force will be able to teleport over. The Iron Man invaded the Stargate program and forcibly closed the Stargate. Now, they want to reset the direct connection between the Stargate and the Stargate. Once the connection is established, this Stargate will serve as a springboard for their large force into the Sunset Galaxy. How long will it take if the setting is successful? It takes 20 hours to establish a stable space channel. But, I only need 2 hours. It takes 20 hours because the computing system built into the Stargate is extremely slow. At least in Iron Man's eyes, it was as slow as a snail. But if Iron Man does it himself, it will only take 2 hours. Their Iron Man's computing power ranks second among all races, and no one dares to claim the first. 2 hours. With the strength of our fleet, there should be no problem surviving 2 hours. But at this moment, a piece of information suddenly appeared in Iron Man's mind. After receiving the information, Iron Man also narrowed his eyes slightly. I didn't expect our ground troops to be defeated so quickly. Fortunately, our actions are fast enough, otherwise, this time will not be enough for us to occupy the Stargate. But now that we have occupied the Sunset Stargate, we don't have to worry about other issues. Several Iron Men also talked back and forth. When the Iron Men of the ground force retransmitted their consciousness to the ship, they also received the information of these Iron Men. The ground troops have been destroyed, and the culprit behind it all is their Iron Man Empire's most wanted target, Su Yan. Now the Western Union fleet should be coming soon. How about coming here? We occupy the Stargate to fight with them. Do they dare to attack the Stargate? Now, the Iron Man Empire occupies a good terrain position of the Stargate. As long as they rely on the cover of Stargate to fight against each other, their Iron Man Empire will definitely not lose. At this moment, in outer space, Wu Shan led the huge Western Alliance fleet to the Stargate aggressively. When he saw the scene at the Stargate, he couldn't help but take a deep breath. No wonder the Stargate was taken over by the Iron Man so quickly. The scale of the Iron Man fleet opposite has reached as many as 500 ships, and most of them are not low-level. When the ships of the Iron Man fleet saw the ships of the Western Alliance, they immediately hid behind the Stargate. Seeing this scene, Wu Shan immediately understood what the other side was thinking. Simply shameless. Wu Shan almost spit out a mouthful of old blood. Iron Man is planning to use the Stargate as a shield to fight him. In this case, Wu Shan will definitely throw the rat against him. After all, for Iron Man, if this Stargate is gone, they can find another one. The big deal is a mission failure. However, if Wu Shan fails to keep this Stargate, his future life will be ruined because of this. These Iron Fleet ships are using Stargates as shields. At this moment, Wu Shan was also caught in a tangle. If he relies on long-range firepower to attack Iron Man's fleet, if you are not careful, it is very likely that the battle will spread to the Stargate. However, if they were in close combat, if they were jumped by the Iron Man, they really might not be able to beat those Iron Man. Now, most of the Alliance soldiers in their ships have been airborne on the ground. Most of the force was held back by the Half-Iron Legion on the ground. If you are in close combat with the Iron Man fleet now, once you are ganged up, the ship will basically be useless. Up to now, Wu Shan still doesn't know how many cards the Iron Man Legion still has. Thinking of this, Wu Shan was also annoyed for a while. Sir, what shall we do next? With the firepower of our ships, if we attack recklessly, it is very likely that the Stargate will be affected. Wu Shan is a little annoyed. Can't he understand this question? After thinking about it, Wu Shan finally chose close combat. If he wins close combat, he will only lose some troops and ships. As long as the Sunset Stargate is still there and the Sunset Galaxy is still there, these battle losses can be compensated for sooner or later. However, if the 030 Stargate falls into the hands of those Iron Men, he and everyone in the entire fleet will inevitably be punished when they return to the Western Union headquarters. They may even lose their lives because of it. Thinking of this, Wu Shan decided to gamble. All ships of the fleet, at full speed, with a method of personal attack on the enemy. Receive. The Western Union fleet that received the order was also advancing at full speed. Seeing the Western Union fleet approaching, the Iron Man commander opposite also saw Wu Shan's intentions. Hee, it looks like our tactics worked. Right now, these Western Alliance ships can only come close to us. All ships are on fire, aim at the enemy ships and hit me hard. For a time, many Iron Man ships used the Stargate as a bunker. A large amount of artillery fire was like a torrential rain, overwhelmingly smashed towards the Western Alliance fleet. At this time, the Western Union's fleet can only passively defend. If you have a shield, turn on the shield, and if you don't have a shield, you will rely on the armor to resist. At this time, they could only keep moving forward, and occasionally there were sporadic artillery pieces. But these guns were aimed at ships that weren't near the Stargate. Boom! With a loud bang, one of the ships of the Western Union finally couldn't bear the concentrated fire of the Iron Man fleet and exploded. A flaming flower bloomed slowly in space, but the ships of the Western Union did not stop because of the destruction of this ship. A large number of ships came one after the other, and the sporadic artillery made them intimidating. On the contrary, the Iron Man ship on the opposite side has no such concerns at all. They opened fire, and the dense artillery fire filled almost all the space between the two fleets. Boom, 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 another 3 ships exploded, and violent flames spread out in space. The ship next to him showed no mercy, and headed straight for the Stargate through the flames. Then, another ship exploded. Wu Shan watched one ship after another explode, and the crew members on them also turned into cosmic dust along with the explosion. But Wu Shan knew that at this time, the arrow was already on the line and had to be sent. No matter if, even if they sacrifice most of the fleet, they will take back the Sunset Stargate. Once they stop here, once they back off, then, all the lives sacrificed before will be meaningless. Go ahead, just keep moving forward. They just have to go forward, to fight, to win. Only by winning this battle can they, the living, give meaning to the dead. Boom! Under the pouring of artillery fire, under the raging flames. Finally, the first ship approached the Iron Man ship. In the next second, the ship burst out with astonishing firepower. Under the close-range attack, the endless artillery fire broke out an amazing impact directly between the two ships. The flames instantly filled the gap between the two ships. With a violent impact, both ships swayed for a while. These Western Conference guys look so pissed off. I actually thought of fighting us in this way. It's ridiculous, our bodies can be replaced at any time, and if they die, they're really dead. It doesn't matter, if we continue to let them bang and die together, in the end, it will be the victory of our Iron Man Empire. The Iron Man commander had long thought of this happening. How about close combat? Iron Man's body can be thrown away at any time, but if the ship explodes, the Western Union members of the ship are really dead. If you change it one by one, it is a complete victory for the Iron Man. Thinking of this, the Iron Man commander also touched his chin, as if he had foreseen the victory of this battle. Boom! As soon as the voice fell, a Western Union ship and an Iron Empire ship exploded at the same time. The fire from the two explosions instantly ignited the starry sky. Even so, the fierce offensive of the Western Union has not weakened in the slightest. There are constantly battleships charging, and battleships are constantly being destroyed. Endless wreckage filled the surroundings of the Stargate, and the firelight continued to light up. Give me death. The Iron Man commander watched as the ships exploded one after another. His eyes are full of excitement, these organic life forms are still dying. But it is this behavior that excites the Iron Man commander. As an Iron Man, his greatest interest is to watch these lifeless organic beings push their lives into the abyss step by step. Boom! A cannon shot directly hit the Western Union's flagship hunter. But fortunately, the defense of the hunting horn is excellent. Wu Shan, who was sitting in the middle of the ship, also frowned. The most powerful means of the hunter should be firepower. Now, the powerful firepower has become a shackle in his hands. Thinking of this, Wu Shan could not help but grit his teeth for a while. Report: our fleet is severely damaged, and if this continues, we will consume all the fleet before the Iron Man fleet. Bad news came one after another, and at this time Wu Shan felt resentment in his heart. Is there really no way to stop these Iron Man legions? At this moment, a communication signal was connected to the communication channel of the hunting number. Hey, this is the flagship of the Longyan fleet, the Hyperion, I'm Captain Su Yan. Su Yan's communication signal. At this time, Wu Shan seems to have caught the last straw. Su Yan, maybe this guy can create another miracle. This is the flagship of the Western Alliance fleet, the Hunt, and I am Captain Wu Shan. Commander Wu Shan, my fleet has now reached the vicinity of the battlefield, you should be able to see my fleet. Su Yan's fleet. At this moment, Wu Shan looked excited. If Su Yan brought 100 or so ships to his side, then 100 or so ships are enough to subvert the entire battlefield situation. But when he saw Su Yan's fleet, he almost spat out a mouthful of old blood. 20 ships. How to fight this? This number of ships is not enough to fill the gap between the teeth. At this time, Su Yan in the communication channel spoke up. Commander Wu Shan, it's the same sentence. If you believe me, follow my instructions. If you can, then try to hold back these Iron Man fleets. As long as you don't let them go back to the Sunset Stargate Fortress, I'll have a chance to snatch the Stargate back from you. As soon as these words came out, the opposite Wu Shan frowned. Can more than 20 ships be able to snatch back the Sunset Stargate? What are you kidding? The size of their fleet is more than 100, but facing the Iron Man fleet is still like facing a hedgehog. Can Su Yan take back the Sunset Stargate with only more than 20 ships? Wu Shan's first reaction was not good. Boom. At this moment, another ship exploded, and the intelligence officer also hurried over. Commander, nearly 1/3 of our ships have been lost, and if we want to retreat, it's too late. Retreat. If they retreat, where can they go? Sunset Stargate is lost, can they return to the Western Conference? Naturally impossible. They retreated, so wouldn't their previous sacrifices be meaningless? Thinking of this, Wu Shan felt as if a fire was burning in his heart. He is not happy. At this time, he looked at the communication channel in front of him. Before, he believed in Su Yan, so the city that never sleeps held on. This time, face this situation. He chose to trust Su Yan again. Okay, I'll cover you. Next, it's up to you to take back the Sunset Stargate. As soon as these words came out, the corner of Su Yan's mouth rose slightly in the Hyperion. Leave this to me. And Su Yan looked at the Sunset Stargate in the distance, and immediately opened the ship's control panel. The 2 Moon-class cruisers slowly stepped forward, and their huge stature wrapped the entire ship in them. Set off. Target, Sunset Stargate. Seeing Su Yan's fleet moving, Wu Shan also felt a burst of pride in his heart. The last big gamble, they are heroes if they win the gamble. Gamble lost. They are the wreckage in space, a shame in the history of the Western Union. The key is here. Wu Shan stood up and shouted sharply. The entire army continues to attack, and no retreat is allowed. Hit me hard. Don't give me ammunition, give me a hard entanglement on the ships of the Iron Man fleet, and don't let them get close to Su Yan's fleet. Even if it's ramming, stop me the ships that are looking for trouble. Now, it's the Iron People's turn to get nervous. Target, Sunset Gate. Go ahead. Following Su Yan's order, the entire fleet also began to rush towards the Sunset Stargate. At this time, the Iron Man on the opposite side also discovered Su Yan's ship. Report, a fleet of 20 ships is coming towards us. Fleet. A fleet of 20 ships can be considered a fleet. After the Iron Man commander heard this, he also expressed disdain. Now, the Western Union and the Iron Man Empire, the fleets of the two sides add up to hundreds of ships. What was he doing with a fleet of only 20 ships? To be cannon fodder. But at this moment, the Iron Man next to him said something cautiously. This fleet seems to be Su Yan's Longyan fleet. In the fleet, there is one S-class ship, 2 A-class Moon-class cruisers, 10 A-class Helios firepower ships, and 10 B-class firepower ships. This firepower is not ordinary. Hearing these words, the Iron Man commander was stunned. Su Yan's fleet, Longyan fleet. Iron Man commander also immediately looked in the direction where Su Yan was coming. Sure enough, I saw Su Yan driving his own Hyperion quickly towards this side. Seeing this scene, the Iron Man commander immediately issued an order. Move 100 ships and stop them for me. Receive. Soon, 100 ships in the Iron Man fleet received the order, and they also began to leave the main force and attack Su Yan. Seeing this, Wu Shan also keenly found a group of Iron Man ships in the Western Union flagship hunting ship that had left the battlefield and rushed towards Su Yan. Report, Commander. A group of Iron Man ships are leaving the battlefield. The number of ships is about 100, and the target is the Longyan fleet. I have reason to suspect that these ships are going to intercept the Longyan fleet. Hearing this sentence, Wu Shan also said angrily, Laozi's eyes are not blind. Move out a group of fleets and bite them hard for me. Even if they die together, he cannot touch Su Yan's ship. This is a death order, pass it on to me immediately. The intelligence officer also responded immediately. Now they are in a deep quagmire, even if it is too late to retreat. Rather than being embarrassed, it is better to fight with vigor and vigor. Immediately after the order was passed, a large number of ships were separated from the Western Union fleet. In the next second, they were full of fire and rammed straight into the Iron Man ships that were about to intercept Su Yan's fleet. Boom! One of the ships collided directly with the Iron Man ship, and when the speed was too high, the ship exploded directly. The two ships directly turned into a group of gorgeous flames, burning in the sea of stars. Other Iron Man ships were also posted instantly. These ships of the Western Alliance are like dying, sticking to the ships of the Iron Man Alliance, and then firing frantically at close range. These ships would have to stop intercepting if they were to fight back. But if you don't ask, these ships of the Western Union are like poisonous snakes staring at you, ready to bite and kill you. Boom! At this time, another ship exploded. However, it was the ships of the Iron Man Empire that exploded this time. After destroying a ship of the Iron Man Empire, the ships of the Western Union also set their sights on other targets again. Boom! 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 Ship after ship was intercepted. Instead, Su Yan's Longyan fleet is unimpeded all the way. The two Moon-class cruisers were like two giants, escorting the Hyperion. Seeing that the Longyan fleet was getting closer, even the Iron Man commander was a little anxious. If you really let them get close to the Sunset Gate, you're in trouble. Don't worry about those lunatics, I didn't expect that a mere 20 ships would be so difficult to deal with. Shift the target and put the main target on Su Yan's fleet. Don't let him get close to Sunset Gate at all costs. The Iron Man fleet, which was fighting in a melee, also received an order. A large number of fleets broke away from the melee and surrounded Su Yan's Longyan fleet. Who knows, when Wu Shan saw this scene, he also sneered. Oh, if you want to fight, you can fight, if you want to go, you can leave, what place am I here? Brothers, post it and keep fighting with them, I don't believe they won't turn back. The situation on the battlefield began to turn around for a while. The original Western Union fleet was crushed by the Iron Empire fleet. But now the focus of the Iron Man Empire's fleet has shifted, but they have fallen into a passive state. And the Western Union's fleet is directly chasing it. Rumbling, a large amount of artillery fire was bombarding the ships of the Iron Empire fleet with impunity. The Iron Man commander is also furious now. These Western Union guys are a bunch of lunatics and they're haunted. Unexpectedly, they would be in chaos because of a fleet of only 20 ships. Now, the rhythm of the battlefield is in Su Yan's hands. The entire Iron Man fleet was led by his nose. If they don't care about Su Yan's fleet, once Su Yan's ship jumps to the Sunset Stargate, how strong the ground troops under his command are, these Iron Men can't be more clear. However, if they control Su Yan, they will be bombarded by the Western Union again. Now, the Western Union is right behind the Iron Man fleet. A lot of artillery fire can be said to be vented like no money, and the previous depression has been released at this moment. Boom, 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 ship after ship bloomed, but these were the ships of the Iron Empire. These lunatics, leave some of the ships to intercept the Western Union fleet. The rest of the fleet, destroy Su Yan's fleet as soon as possible. At that time, no matter how crazy the Western Union is, it will not be able to make any waves. Speaking of this, the Iron Man commander also showed a ruthless look in his eyes. The Iron Man under him immediately conveyed the order. I saw that some of the ships that were originally advancing towards Su Yan stopped directly. Immediately afterwards, the ships of the Iron Man Empire also turned around and attacked directly. Seeing this scene, Wu Shan is no longer afraid. The two sides fight again. But at this time, Wu Shan discovered that some of the ships continued to attack Su Yan. When Wu Shan reacted, it was already too late. These Iron Empire ships cling to them, just like they did against the Iron Empire before. Now, the Iron Man Empire is also using this method against them. Seeing this scene, Wu Shan also immediately felt something bad. Su Yan, it's not good, a group of Iron Man fleet is heading towards you. How many years? In the communication channel, Su Yan's incomparably calm voice also came out. And Wu Shan also wiped off his sweat. There are about 100 ships. Speaking of this, Wu Shan also beat the drum in his heart. Ruined. This batch of fleets is not a small number. If Su Yan is destroyed because of this fleet, his sin will be done. You are too careless. I didn't expect these Iron Men to kill a carbine. But at this time, in the communication channel, Su Yan did not mean to panic at all. 100 ships. Not a big deal. That's 100 ships. For a time, Wu Shan even suspected that Su Yan said this on purpose to reassure him. Not only Wu Shan, but also the Iron Man commander felt it. 100 ships fought against 20 ships, and everyone knew exactly what the result was. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Several solar cannons burst out, lighting up the entire starry sky almost instantly. Immediately afterwards, several Iron Man Empire ships turned into fireworks and exploded. What's the situation? What happened? Before the Iron Man commander could react, the Valkyrie fireboat attacked decisively. Rumbling. The dense number of episodes of rockets bombarded directly on several Iron Man ships. Immediately afterwards, several iron ships also exploded. Before they could start operations, 1/5 of the ships were destroyed. For a moment, the Iron Man commander was stunned. Even Wu Shan can't believe his eyes. What's the situation? Instant kill. What kind of ship is he meowing? Su Yan looked at the ships that were getting closer and waved a big hand. Solar cannon is fully charged. Set number rockets are filled. Emission. Another round of bombing. Iron Man fleet has a lot less ships. These Iron Man commanders can't sit still. How is it possible? Su Yan's ships have such powerful firepower. And at this moment, those Iron Man ships finally approached Su Yan's fleet. But before they were too happy, the giant Moon-class cruiser stood directly in front of the Iron Man ship. Light spears and macro cannons fired together. Rumbling. A series of fire explosions exploded, and there were only 30 ships left in the Iron Man fleet before the battle. How to fight this? Su Yan didn't give them a chance. The huge body of the Moon-class cruiser directly crushed them, and those ships were directly crushed by the Moon-class cruiser without even reacting. It's not that I didn't give them a chance. 100 or so ships would dare to intercept me. Ridiculous. If you want to intercept me, you must at least turn over 5 times the number of ships. Hearing Su Yan's words, Wu Shan was stunned. It seems that Su Yan's combat power is far more powerful than he imagined. At this time, Su Yan was also approaching the Sunset Stargate. After getting close to the Sunset Stargate, Su Yan also found that this thing is indeed not small. It looks like a giant fortress. At this moment, the Iron Men in this fortress began to act one after another, and they were fully armed and guarded at each entrance. But at this time, Su Yan also thought of their actions, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly. Get ready for a jump, gang. Report, sir. Su Yan's fleet is approaching the Sunset Stargate. Very good. Wu Shan was also overjoyed. He had seen the strength of Su Yan's ground troops. As long as his ground troops can enter the Sunset Stargate, it is difficult for those Iron Men to stop the attack of Su Yan's troops. Next, as long as they snatch the Sunset Stargate back, they will have the initiative. In the Sunset Stargate, the Iron Man commander also ordered all the elite troops to defend. There is still 1 hour before the re-establishment of the Stargate channel. As long as they can defend this last hour, that is their victory. Defend all the entrances and never let them rush in to sabotage our plan. At this moment, all the entrances of Sunset Stargate were heavily guarded by Iron Man. No matter what method Su Yan chooses to enter into the Sunset Stargate, he will fall into the net they have set up. But at this moment, the Iron Man commander noticed something was wrong. The opposing Longyan fleet actually chose to stop after arriving near the Sunset Stargate. What's the situation? Don't they intend to forcibly take back control of Sunset Stargate through a gang battle? But at this moment, something unexpected happened. I saw 2 Moon-class cruisers lined up in front of the Sunset Stargate. Immediately afterwards, several large-caliber artillery pieces were pulled out. After seeing these artillery pieces, the Iron Man commander panicked. What's the situation? Is he planning to bombard Sunset Stargate? What the hell kind of tactic is this? Don't they take back the Sunset Gate? Seeing Su Yan's battle, even Wu Shan couldn't sit still. What does he want? Bombing the Sunset Stargate? Why did they fight Iron Man in melee? They were afraid that the aftermath of the battle would affect Sunset Stargate, which was the lifeblood of the Western Alliance. They were careful not to have the slightest handicap. Who knew? Su Yan actually pulled out the large caliber artillery, ready to bombard the Sunset Stargate. Who is it? Who can stand it? In order to protect the Sunset Stargate, they fought desperately. As a result, a friendly army finally came, and as a result, they directly pulled out their cannons and aimed at the positions you took care of. Wu Shan panicked at this time, and also frantically called Su Yan in the communication channel. Brother Su Yan, what do you mean? Our goal is to retake the Sunset Stargate, not to destroy the Sunset Stargate. Brother Su Yan, calm down. Wu Shan almost begged. He never imagined that the biggest enemy of Sunset Stargate was Su Yan. If it weren't for the fact that Su Yan helped him guard the city that never sleeps. Now, he even wonders if Su Yan is an undercover agent from Iron Man. In the communication channel, Su Yan's speechless voice also came out. Commander Wu Shan, you just need to trust me. I'm not stupid enough to blow up the Sunset Gate, it's just a tactic of mine. Besides, Sunset Stargate itself is a fortress, do you really think it's as fragile as paper? For a time, Wu Shan was also speechless by Su Yan. To be honest, when the Sunset Stargate was built, it was built according to the specifications of the Star Fortress. Although the defensive power is not very strong, it is at least much stronger than ordinary ships. However, after seeing the powerful firepower of the Longyan fleet under Su Yan, Wu Shan couldn't help but wipe away a cold sweat. Even the Sunset Stargate has a very strong defense, but it can't stand your fierce artillery attack. But at this time, Su Yan had closed Wu Shan's communication channel. Su Yan, who was sitting in the Hyperion, waved his hand. Emission. Boom. With the launch of an artillery piece, Wu Shan and the Iron Man commander couldn't help but feel tight in their hearts. This boy is for real. Boom, boom, boom. Shell after shell was fired. But at this moment, Wu Shan discovered something was wrong. Why do these cannonballs look so much like airdrops? Wu Shan rubbed his eyes, and after letting him see the appearance of those cannonballs, he couldn't help but take a deep breath. It's really an airdrop. Boom. An airdrop warehouse smashed directly into the Sunset Stargate. The Iron Man Legion, who was guarding at each entrance, was also nervous when they heard this movement. What happened? Didn't the enemy plan to retake the Sunset Stargate, and instead just bombarded it? But at this moment, there was another loud noise, and the entire Sunset Stargate began to tremble. At this moment, those iron people were blinded. They actually came for real. Did they really plan to perish with them? But it's a little strange, why these shells haven't exploded yet. At this moment, in the corridor, several Iron Man warriors looked at the cannonball in front of them and couldn't help but look at each other. Is this a cannonball? Why does it look like an airdrop warehouse? Puff. While they were still discussing, the cannonball in front of them opened. The fully armed Thunder Warriors walked out of the cannonballs. After seeing this scene, the surrounding Iron Men also reacted immediately. This is the airdrop position on the opposite side. They actually use the airdrop bins as cannonballs to perform jump gangs. All the Iron Men picked up the firearms in their hands and shot towards the airdrop warehouse. But at this moment, there was another loud noise. The brand new airdrop warehouse pierced the armor of the ship and fell directly from the sky on them. Immediately, those Iron Men were directly crushed into a pile of scrap iron. The airdrop compartment opened, and a fighting nun stood up from the airdrop compartment. When she saw the Thunder Warrior next door, the battle nun also showed a captivating smile. Meet again, big man. Thunder Warriors and Battle Sisters, these two legions are the strongest ground troops in Su Yan's hands right now. The soldiers of these two units are also incompatible in the battle. Thunder Warriors consider themselves veterans, and the battle nuns should show them respect. But it is a pity that the fighting nuns are single-minded towards Su Yan, and in their eyes, the others are just tools to assist Su Yan. Two incompatible teams can only prove that they are stronger than each other by killing enemies on the battlefield. The Thunder Warrior and the Battle Sister glanced at each other, and a strong smell of gunpowder began to fill the air. I hope after the battle is over, you can still be so stubborn. The Thunder Warrior picked up his bolt gun, and then slowly walked to the left. The Battle Nun narrowed her eyes and sneered. When the time comes, let's see who has more kills. I believe the captain will see my strong strength. After all, the Battle Nun also walked towards the corridor on the right. What followed was a horrific massacre. The Thunder Warriors and the Fighting Sisters assisted in the Sunset Stargate with the help of airdrops. The two super soldiers, after stepping into the Sunset Stargate, began to kill in the Sunset Stargate. Ordinary iron soldiers could not resist their attack at all. Su Yan obtained the architectural drawings of the Sunset Stargate from Rowan. On this holographic map, Su Yan marked the location of the Central Command Area. Attention all troops, I have sent the coordinates of the Stargate Command Center to your tech watch. Now, get to the Stargate Command Center as soon as possible, and kill any creatures that stop you along the way. Receive. The Thunder Warriors and Battle Sisters inside Sunset Stargate also received the map at the same time. Afterwards, the two started running towards the Stargate Command Center according to the location indicated on the map. In the Stargate Command Center, the Iron Man commander couldn't help urging the Iron Man beside him. How long until the Stargate is reconnected? It's still 30 minutes. 30 minutes is not enough time. Before, he thought that this time was more than enough, but now it seems that he thinks too much. Unexpectedly, Su Yan would use artillery to bombard the airdrop warehouse into the Sunset Stargate. This turned all his arrangements into bubbles, and because of the existence of those Thunder Warriors and Battle Sisters, they are now in a very passive state. Wake up those elite Iron Men now. At this time, they can no longer be allowed to continue to sleep. Hearing this, the Iron Man next to him also nodded. Now, the other party has obtained the map of Sunset Stargate, and it will be here soon. Those ordinary Iron Warriors alone are not enough to resist the footsteps of Thunder Warriors and Battle Nuns. On the side of the Fighting Nuns, one of the good Fighting Nuns opened the holographic map and glanced at her location. Later, she found that her position was very close to the command center. It seems that our Fighting Nuns will be the first to win this battle. But at this moment, the Battle Nun seemed to feel something. The wall next to it was directly penetrated, and a metal arm stretched out directly. Seeing this, the Fighting Nun took a step back. The power sword in his hand slashed directly on the metal arm. When, with a series of fire splashes, the Battle Nun only felt her arm go numb. The Battle Nun was a little surprised. What kind of metal could actually resist the attack of the power sword? This was the first time she had seen the power sword bounced off. Squeak! The wall shattered, and a 3-meter-tall elite Iron Man walked out from the wall. His entire body is made of super strong alloy materials. Its defensive power can be hard against ship missiles, and it has a built-in small nuclear reactor, and its power is even more powerful. This is the elite Iron Man built by Iron Man by analyzing the data samples of the Thunder Warrior after the last battle with the Thunder Warrior. I saw this elite Iron Man standing in front of the Battle Nun, and when he raised his hand, his right arm turned into a chainsaw sword. Huh, interesting. Looking at the equipment of this elite Iron Man in front of her, the Battle Nun also sneered. I have heard from their captains long ago that when fighting the Iron Man, they must deal with the Iron Man as soon as possible. The more cards exposed, the more information will be pirated by Iron Man. And this elite Iron Man in front of him, whether in terms of body size or weapons, is completely made according to the template of the Thunder Warrior. Now it seems that it is an Iron Man version of the Thunder Warrior. The elite Iron Man activated the switch of the chainsaw sword, and the chainsaw sword began to rotate. Brush. The next second, the elite Iron Man slashed with a sword. The Fighting Nun took a few steps back, and her body lightly avoided the attack of the elite Iron Man. The chainsaw sword slashed across the wall, leaving a knife mark directly on the wall. The elite Iron Man strode forward, and the other arm also turned into a chainsaw sword. The two chainsaw swords attacked continuously, causing the Fighting Nun on the opposite side to retreat again and again. Brush. Suddenly, the chainsaw slashed across the Battle Nun's pale face. Just a trace of prestige left a wound on the Battle Nun's face. The battle nun touched the wound, and a burning pain struck. But in the blink of an eye, the wound disappeared without a trace. This is another fighting talent of the battle sister, although she doesn't have the near superhuman strength and physique of the Thunder Warrior. However, once she was injured on the battlefield, her body would heal at an extremely exaggerated speed. It is this ability that makes the battle nun's combat effectiveness on the battlefield greatly improved. But now, the battle nun looked at the elite Iron Man in front of her and understood. If next, she can't think of a way to deal with this elite Iron Man, maybe she really wants to fall here. No matter how powerful the healing ability is, it cannot deal with the continuous attacks. The battle nun took out the chainsword from behind that she didn't intend to use. To be honest, I don't like this weapon. Because when this weapon was designed, what those lunatics said made me feel very uncomfortable. But now, I have to use this weapon. Pulling back the veil of the weapon, a more sophisticated chainsaw appeared in the hands of the battle nun. But compared to the chainsaw sword in the hands of the elite Iron Man, the chainsaw sword in the hands of the fighting nun was thinner. Click. The chainsaw sword in the battle nun's hand was activated. I saw that the chainsaws that exuded deadly cold-ons began to turn, and the speed of rotation became faster and faster. Call. A gust of wind rose from the battle nun. Raising the chainsaw sword in her hand, the battle nun also looked at the chainsaw sword in her hand with some fear. This chainsaw sword is a brand new chainsaw sword developed by the mechanical priests, and the mechanical priests have carried out a large-scale upgrade of its power. The chainsaw sword in front of me is named the Furious Chainsaw Sword, and its rotational speed is 10 times that of an ordinary chainsaw sword. For a chainsaw sword, the rotational speed determines its sharpness. And the speed of this chainsaw sword is 10 times higher than that of the old chainsaw sword, and after turning on the Furious mode, its speed can reach an astonishing 100 times the speed. But at the same time, in Fury mode, the engine inside the chainsword will explode after 5 minutes due to overload. Therefore, if the Fury mode is turned on, it is best to solve the battle within 5 minutes. To be honest, when the battle nun turned on the Fury mode for the first time, she was really scared by this thing. Looking at the elite Iron Man in front of her, the fighting nun exerted strength under her feet. The next second, she rushed straight up. Brush. The two chainsaw swords collided, and the violent chainsaw sword in the hands of the battle nun easily gained the upper hand. The chainsaw sword in the hands of the elite Iron Man was directly divided into two. Seeing the broken chainsaw sword in his hand, there was also a trace of inconceivable in the eyes of the elite Iron Man. Both are chainsaw swords, why is his own chainsaw sword cut off so easily? Your weapons are out of date, while we've been standing still. After all, the battle nun raised the violent chainsaw sword and slashed directly at the elite Iron Man. Sizzle. For a time, sparks flew everywhere. The elite Iron Man grabbed the battle nun, and the battle nun took a few steps back and stopped the attack. But at this time, there was a gap in the armor of the elite Iron Man. Looking at the gap, the battle nun glanced at the chainsaw sword in her hand. I didn't expect that your defense was quite tough. After all, the fighting nun directly turned on the Fury mode. At this time, the chainsaw sword also made a roaring sound. A chainsaw sword with 100 times the speed of rotation, such a terrifying speed is considered a violent chainsaw sword. The next second, the battle nun attacked the elite Iron Man directly. The elite Iron Man wanted to block with his bare hands, but the chainsaw sword went straight through his arm. Looking at the incisions where the arms were brushed together, the elite Iron Man looked at a loss. But before he could react, the battle nun directly raised the violent chainsaw sword and stabbed at the gap he had cut before. With a series of sparks splashing, the elite Iron Man was directly stabbed by the violent chainsaw sword. Before the fighting nun finished her attack, she used her arms to slash straight down. Brush. The body of the elite Iron Man was directly split in half. Immediately afterwards, the battle nun stabbed the chainsaw sword directly into the head of the elite Iron Man. Afterwards, the fighting nun let go directly. The Berserk chainsaw sword, as the name suggests, cannot be stopped once Berserk mode is turned on. Boom. A loud noise came from behind. The battle nun looked back, and the engine of the violent chainsaw was directly overloaded and exploded, and even the body of the elite Iron Man was blown to pieces by it. Seeing this scene, the battle nun couldn't help but curse DBCG. Didn't those mechanical priests say 5 minutes to explode? It's only been 3 minutes. Gee. The battle nun also secretly said in her heart that she will never use the experimental weapons developed by the madmen of the mechanical priests in the future. Afterwards, the battle nun also continued to move towards the command center according to the map. And Su Yan also received news from the Thunder Warrior and other fighting nuns. All of them encountered elite Iron Warriors, but fortunately, the number of these elite Iron Warriors was not very large. These Iron Men are really addicted to piracy. This elite Iron Man is exactly what the Thunder Warrior made last time. Looking at the videos and pictures transmitted from the front line, Su Yan also expressed disdain. If it is someone else, if you see that your weapons and even the arms have been pirated by Iron Man. It is estimated that at that time, they had panicked. But Su Yan is different. He has the system and the technological power of the mechanical priest. The speed of his replacement of weapons and arms far exceeds the speed of Iron Man piracy. As long as I update fast enough, piracy can't beat me. Thinking of this, Su Yan also chuckled. At this time, a battle nun has come to the command center. Boom! The door to the command center was kicked open, and the battle nun was armed with a bolter. When she saw the Iron Man appearing in her field of vision, the fighting nun cut off her gun decisively, not giving the opponent the slightest chance to react. At this moment, the Thunder Warrior also rushed over. The battle nun during the battle glanced at the power armor on the Thunder Warrior. I saw that the power armor on the Thunder Warriors also had a lot of scratches, and it seemed that they also encountered elite Iron Men. Seeing that the battle nun had taken control of the situation, the Thunder Warrior did not speak, but stood silently at the door to prevent other Iron Men from making trouble. The Iron Man was completely subdued, and the Stargate Command Center was taken down by the Thunder Warriors and the battle nuns. Next, even if the Iron People have great ability, it is difficult to make any waves. Mission accomplished, Captain. However, these Iron Men chose to upload the data after determining that the mission had failed. Sorry, we didn't catch a single Iron Man. There was a somewhat guilty voice from the battle nun in the communication channel. But Su Yan said indifferently, "You have recaptured the Sunset Stargate, and that is good. Warriors, you've done a great job, I'm proud of you." When the Thunder Warriors heard Su Yan's praise, they also put their left hand on their chest and said solemnly, "It is the honor of our life to dedicate everything to Your Excellency Su Yan. Everything about us belongs to Mr. Su Yan. Thank you for your admiration for us, we will regard this as our honor." The battle nun also answered very religiously. On the other side of the Western Alliance, Wu Shan was also stunned when he saw that the Iron Man fleet was suddenly motionless. What's the situation? Why don't these Iron Men move? The Sunset Gate has been brought back, and the Iron Men should have all retreated. Hearing this sentence, Wu Shan breathed a sigh of relief, and after he was relaxed, he also slumped on the ground. Su Yan, who was sitting in the Hyperion, also saw all the Iron Man ships stop. This means that the Iron Man inside has left. There is no chance of winning in the next fight. On the contrary, if it continues to delay and is captured alive by Su Yan, it will be a huge loss for Iron Man. As for the loss of these ships, just kidding, what Iron Man is best at is assembly line manufacturing. As long as they are willing and have enough resources, they can form a fleet again in minutes. The word war damage does not exist in their eyes. They can even mine a planet out in a short time. As long as the Iron Man consciousness is not leaked, they can regenerate infinitely. Afterwards, Su Yan drove the Hyperion to Sunset Stargate. Under the operation of the mechanical priest, the Stargate returned to normal in the shortest possible time. And the Western Union headquarters was the first to know the situation here. The Sunset Stargate almost fell, which also caused everyone in the Western League to break into a cold sweat. The Sunset Stargate was reconnected, and the city that never sleeps returned to its calm once again. But the ruins in the city that never sleeps are telling others all the time that an earth-shattering battle once took place here. The news that Sunset Galaxy was attacked by Iron Man instantly spread throughout the entire Star Sea. The Iron Man is not dead, and they have now begun to disguise as the Xinghai race and mingle in the Xinghai. At first, there were people who didn't believe it. But the details of the Battle of the Sunset Galaxy continued to be exposed. The entire Xinghai also fell into endless panic. First, There were Zerg raging, and now the Iron Man Empire is also making a comeback. And, these Iron Men, if the superficial camouflage skin hadn't been punctured. It is impossible for the ordinary Star Sea race to identify it with the naked eye. For a time, the Xinghai races in various places could not help but break out in a cold sweat. Maybe, someone around me has been replaced by an Iron Man, but they haven't found it now. Along with the Iron Man Empire, it reappeared in everyone's field of vision. A fleet name is also known by various Star Sea races. Longyan Fleet, the captain is Su Yan, who once shined in the Battle of the Silver Light Galaxy and the defense of the Financial Star. Similarly, this time it was precisely because of the existence of Su Yan that the city that never sleeps was defended, and even the fallen Sunset Stargate was snatched back by him. The solar system, the mansion of the Moon Lord. Lin Xinghe looked at the latest Xinghai Express, and the headline was the Battle of the Sunset Galaxy. 20 ships hoisted the Iron Man fleet of hundreds of ships. This news is a bit too much. Could it be that these 20 ships are all S-class ships? But Lin Xinghe continued to look down and found that the captain of the Longyan fleet was Su Yan. For a moment, Lin Xinghe's mind echoed the conversation between him and his elder brother Lin Beihe. You don't need to worry about Qingyu. She is now a crew member on a ship called Su Yan. I warn you, don't go to this trouble called Su Yan. Let me know, I have to deal with you. This young man named Su Yan is more promising than the two of us, and Qingyu won't suffer by following him. Su Yan will make a name for herself in the Sea of Stars sooner or later, and Qingyu will follow him when the time comes. Don't ruin her future, you kid. When he heard these words, Lin Xinghe agreed on the surface. But he was also a little disdainful in his heart. He was a famous Moon Lord. An interstellar voyager, what does he beat me with? But then, in the Battle of the Silver Light Galaxy, the defense of the Financial Star, and now the Battle of the Sunset Galaxy, there is Su Yan's figure. Moreover, he played a pivotal role in these 3 battles. If it was me back then, in these 3 battles, I don't think I have the chance to play soy sauce on the edge of the battlefield. Hiss. This Su Yan really has some skills. It seems that what Big Brother said is right. This guy named Su Yan will sooner or later become famous in the Sea of Stars. Lin Xinghe sighed, not expecting that his younger sister would actually board this person's boat. However, now that she is doing pretty well, she doesn't have to worry about it anymore. Gold Galaxy, Financial Star. Jin Luo sat in her office and couldn't help rubbing her temples. And just then, her secretary came in. Boss, this is all the industrial information of the Jin clan. At present, boss, you have mastered 50% of the equity of the Jin clan. Now you are the largest shareholder in the Jin clan. Congratulations to the boss. The Kim clan is said to be a family, but in fact its composition is not much different from a company. Since birth, Jin Luo has held a part of the shares of the Jin clan. Among their clans, whoever holds the most shares can control the Jin clan. However, although Jin Luo holds a part of the shares, she does not have much thought to intrigue with her brothers and sisters. It was not until after the Battle of Financial Star that someone in the Jin clan was killed by Su Yan because of the nobles of his own faction. Because, that person held a grudge, causing the rejection of Su Yan within the Jin clan. Only at this time did Jin Luo react. It turns out that the interior of the Jin clan has rotted away. Rather than let it continue to fester, it is better to cut all the stakes in your own hands. It's not enough, I want to hold all the shares in my own hands. When speaking of this, Jin Luo's eyes flashed a stern look. At this moment, the younger sister Jin Xing hurried in. Sister, have you read today's Xinghai Express? I'm so busy all day, where do I have time to watch? Jin Luo also rubbed her brows and felt a headache. And Jin Xing seemed to know, and directly placed an electronic bulletin in front of Jin Luo. I knew you definitely didn't read it, so I brought it directly to you. Brother Su Yan, he is famous again, he beat the Iron Man core away in the Sunset Galaxy. It's good that it's big brother Su Yan, it took so long before he became famous again. Hearing Su Yan's name, Jin Luo also got the electronic express immediately. The above news Jin Luo also quickly browsed word by word. In the Battle of Sunset Galaxy, the Western Alliance cooperated with the Longyan fleet to defeat the fleet of the Iron Man Empire, and successfully defended the city that never sleeps and the Sunset Stargate. Su Yan. Looking at the name of the attribute above, Jin Luo's eyes were filled with emotion. She knew from the beginning that Su Yan was not an ordinary person. But I didn't expect her to grow so fast. After this battle, the Western Union must be grateful to Su Yan. After all, the strategic location of the Sunset Galaxy, both economically and militarily, is a very important location. If the Sunset System is taken over by the Iron Man, the entire open sea will be plunged into the Iron Man's storm. After all, with the Sunset Stargate, Iron Man can use the Stargate to teleport back and forth, whether it is to transport supplies or troops, it is an extremely fast thing. Su Yan saved the Western Conference's life this time. Seeing this, Jin Luo also smiled slightly. Since he has worked so hard, I will continue to work hard for my goal. At this moment, Su Yan was watching the light rain in the dock and finished the installation of the last part. When this part was installed, the Hyperion had undergone earth-shaking changes compared to before. The current Hyperion can perform multiple space flips. Not only that, with the support of the overloadable reactor, the Yamato gun will not be affected by the cooling time when the reactor is overloaded in the future. Katakana middle dot 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 katakana middle dot. Unlimited firing of Yamato cannons, who is not afraid? You know, the Yamato cannon can smash an S-class ship with 3 shots. Moreover, the current eternal energy stones are also loaded into the reactor. Even in the overload mode, the existence of the eternal energy stone also makes the Hyperion's overload state extend to the greatest extent. This is a disguised increase in the combat power of the Hyperion. The last part is also completed, and next, it only needs to be checked a few times to complete the upgrade. Although the Hyperion was upgraded, most of the boatman Mark was in operation. However, as Mark's assistant, Su Yan also saw her superb technique when upgrading the Hyperion. It seemed that as a boatman, she was more than enough to get on the boat. How's it going? My technique is okay. Speaking of this, Xiao Yu also tried to see a hint of appreciation in Su Yan's eyes. But Su Yan just smiled. Yes, it's enough to get on my boat. Xiao Yu puffed out a small face. Doesn't this guy know how to brag about himself? This is an S-class ship. As a young boatman, being able to participate in the upgrade of the S-class ship is already remarkable. Just then, an Alliance soldier walked in. After he walked in, he saw Su Yan in the same way, and then walked over quickly. Seeing this, Su Yan also turned around. It seemed that the Western Union had something to inform him. Sir Su Yan, this Alliance soldier is also very excited. After all, he also participated in the Battle of Sunset Star at the beginning. Whether it is Su Yan's performance in the defense of the city that never sleeps, or in the battle for the Sunset Stargate, he is a hero. Meeting a heroic figure, it is difficult to guarantee that this Alliance soldier will not be nervous. Su Yan also patted him on the shoulder. Don't be nervous, what's the matter with me? That's it, our commander, Chief Wu Shan, is now waiting for you in the central building of the city that never sleeps. This time, the officers of the other fleets of our Western Alliance also came to the city that never sleeps, and they want to see you. At the same time, Chief Wu Shan and the others have also prepared a reward for this operation. I hope you can come over. After listening to the words of the Alliance soldier, Su Yan also touched his chin. Recently, I have seen a lot of Western Alliance ships shuttle back and forth over the city that never sleeps. It turned out that the officers of other fleets of the Western Alliance also came to the city that never sleeps, but this is normal. After all, both the city that never sleeps and the Sunset Galaxy have experienced an Iron Man attack, and this battle made the Western Alliance almost lose the key galaxy of the Sunset Galaxy. Those officers of the Western Union must be more interested in the Sunset Galaxy. At the same time, Su Yan was a little curious about what kind of compensation the Western Union would prepare for him. After all, the Western Union does not have the wealth of the Jin clan, so it should have more other materials. After much deliberation, Su Yan also decided to go there himself. After taking 2 bodyguards, Su Yan also got into the vehicle that the Union soldiers specially came to pick him up. Afterwards, they went all the way unimpeded and came to the core of the city that never sleeps, the central building. Here are some management talents of the city that never sleeps. And Su Yan also walked into the central building under the leadership of the Union soldiers. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.